Hey y'all, it's Garth, the Big 615. You're going to hear the newest that country music has to offer. At the same time, you're going to hear the newest that the country classics have to offer. I want to hear the new single from George Strait, and I want to hear it right beside the new single from Luke Combs. That's the thing we call the Big 615.
Download the free TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. Or ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 18 and episode number 3,883. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my cock, Montgomery. And you are in the Men's Room. What's up today? It is a random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: delicious meats and cheeses. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack, drink at the jar.
All right, here we go. Fresno officer recovering after suspect goes all Evander Holyfield on his ear. Getting stabbed in the penis by a prostitute, hopefully something that no one has to fear, except for one guy. Man fleeing from police, jump into crocodile-infested lake. Cat thinks everything in Neighbors is something that he can take. And a man finds $60,000 in the walls of his home and can't spend a dime. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, you've probably never heard of Jeffrey Hinton, and that's okay. But he's known as the godfather of artificial intelligence. Well, over a decade after developing the tech that underlies most AI, he says he's scared of it. Not the AI itself, but how people will choose to use it, because let's face it, people are people. And actually, Joe Rogan, he recently warned of the same thing. And Joe has always had concerns about it, but it came to a head last month after an AI-generated fake podcast of his show went viral. And it's not all bad, though. In a recent study, medical patients rated AI chatbots better than actual doctors when it came to medical advice. So they had a panel of actual doctors who happened to agree. AI was given a 79% approval rating, while human doctors scored 22%. Meanwhile, human doctors are the ones who recently revealed what is responsible for the rise in throat cancer here in the United States. In short, tobacco and alcohol use still there, but according to recent research, those of us who have had or have 6 or more lifetime oral sex partners are 8.5 times more likely to develop throat cancer. Or if you have one oral sex partner and her name is Catherine Zeta-Jones. I'm not being mean. You might remember actor Michael Douglas. He was being diagnosed with throat cancer years ago, and he immediately blamed it on servicing his wife's lady bits. Now, we thought he was ridiculous at the time, but since then, we come to find out it's true. She has a cancerous vagina. Then again, I'd still go there. Look, I smoke cigarettes. It's Catherine Zeta-Jones. What are you going to do? Now, these are just some of the stories we saw. Stories that left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us. We will ask you a question that completes random. And after you share your story, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the big show, the random question. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit Max.com.
Start summer with a $500 Visa gift card. NC Machinery is offering big rewards on small excavators. Grab a Cat Mini excavator and demolish jobs. Dig deep or move material with the smallest line of Cat products. Do more with less. That's right, small is big right now. Big rewards and big savings for your pocket. For a limited time, NC Machinery is offering a $500 Visa gift card, as well as financing of 0% for 36 months for qualified buyers. Now is the time to reward yourself. Terms and conditions apply while supplies last.
On. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Over Charles, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3,883. What a large and in charge program we have for you today on this Monday, guaranteed future repeat. We call this the Allergy Edition.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, yeah. I'm not struggling nearly as bad as Ted, Mike, and Steve. You're seemingly okay today.
Yeah. Allergies don't generally get me. Not weather-related allergies, anyway.
Me neither. But today, hit me like a ton of bricks. My whole head's stuffed up. My throat's sore.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yesterday,
I couldn't talk.
I couldn't talk yesterday either.
Yeah.
Started in the evening. I'm like, what is this? I realized I'm like nose is running. Everything pouring down. Very exciting edition today. Your guess is as good as mine. Our category is delicious meats and cheeses. We have the top 10 meats. That includes poultry and seafood and crustaceans and all those different things. And then we have your top 10 cheeses. So a delicious meat and cheese plate.
I'm in. I can go for meat and cheese right now.
Is as good as mine. Oh, they're always delicious. One of my favorites. What else do we have for you today? As we do exclusively, we head on over to the Odyssey app every Monday through Friday for the Men's Room Happy Hour. And we give some props and love for the weekend. Mike, you were out of town in lovely Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah!
Which is a cultural mecca. For those of you who've never been there before, what a town. What a great time. Cannot wait to hear about all the excitement you had in Cleveland, Ohio.
So much.
Props coming up. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. What you'll need to do is search for the Men's Room page. When you find that, all things Men's Room are on there. I'll tell you what it is, but my throat can't do it. So just go there and check it out now. But we do have the Men's Room Happy Hour channel on there.
Correct.
And that goes live every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. And today, we do our random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Jeff, welcome to the program. Random question. All right. Let's see here. What do we have for you? Okay. All right. What was or is wrong with your pet, Jeff? What was wrong or is wrong with your pet?
Oh, man. So I've got a couple of cats and a dog. I gotta go with the dog on this one. His nickname is Bonk.
Bonk?
Because he just has this bonk. Yep. He has this uncanny ability to just bonk his head into stuff everywhere he goes.
Huh. Is he stupid or just clumsy?
Definitely stupid, a little bit clumsy.
Okay.
Right.
He's a little bit of both.
Is he blind?
Nope.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a mutt. He's a mix between German Shepherd, Pit Bull, and Lab.
All right. See, that doesn't make sense. Because typically, oftentimes, if you have a hound dog, they will walk everywhere with their head down.
Sure, they're not looking.
I've seen beagles run into walls and everything else. But those dogs all keep their head up.
Yeah, generally speaking. So you're right, your dog's stupid. How old is he?
Oh, he's about 4 years old now.
And has this been the case pretty much for all 4 years?
Yeah, pretty much.
All
he
right.
likes to lead the way where we're going, but he doesn't know where we're going, so he's turning around and looking back at us, and then when he turns his head back around, he just smacks it into whatever he's walking into.
All right, let me ask you this. How long were you saying to yourself, as we often do with puppies, hey, they'll grow out of it?
With him, I don't think we ever did.
Okay, so at some point you just knew this is a permanent state of lunacy for your dog.
What are your dog's favorite things? What's he enjoy? Sleeping on the couch, chasing a ball? Like, what is his favorite thing to do?
He loves chasing squirrels in the backyard.
Okay.
They run along our fence, and he tries to get them. He loves to play fight. Anything tug of war, anything like that.
We might have the same dogs. My dog's pretty dumb, loves chasing the squirrels, but tug of war is easily her favorite absolute thing.
Now, is he an ugly dog or a cute dog?
Oh, he's beautiful. He's gorgeous.
That's why I am.
Well, all owners say that about their dog.
No. Some people are like, my dog is ugly, but the dog's really cool, right? And you've met those really stupid, ugly dogs, but you're like, man, this dog is awesome. It's just a shame they look that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people are honest.
I feel like you can be honest with your dog, right? Your kid, I truly believe you don't know. You know, because everyone thinks your kid is cute, and you should. I understand. It's kind of like this biological imperative. So you're like, hey, man, beautiful kid, and you look at a picture of this kid, and you're like, Jesus H. Christ, that's an ugly kid. But the thing about kids, like kittens and puppies, generally speaking, they are cute, just based on need. But every once in a while, and that's what blows your mind. Like, as an adult, you can be ugly as a butt, right? We get it, no problem. But most kids, like 5 and under, the assumption is that the kid's going to be cute. And I will not mention any names, but there are 3 children that I've seen in my life where I could not believe, and I know this sounds mean, I'm not being mean, it's just an observation, how remarkably ugly they were for their age. One of them is a group of people we know very well. They had a kid, and we were excited for them. They had kids before we did, and they sent us a picture, and I'm like, I told my wife, I said, look, that is the ugliest goddamn kid I've seen. And that kid stayed ugly until about 5. They've grown into it now. They look like a normal human being, but like, it took a hot minute because I was convinced. There's another guy I knew who is excited to introduce me to his son. I believe his son was 3 or 4 at the time, right? And that's the age of like absolute cuteness. Right. Not this kid. Kid was butt ugly. Kids. And one kid, I will not say where I know them from, but every time I see them, I'm stunned that you can be that ugly and be a child when nothing happened to you. It's not like they fell out of a tree or got hit by a car. I mean, like, this is just because their parents look normal, you know, and you look at this kid like, man, oh man, how can you be this ugly and you're a child?
Yeah. Well, the difference is people will comment you on your animal. So if they do not, that means your dog is ugly.
Oh, guaranteed.
You know, they'll say, is your dog friendly? I would like to pet it. But if you have a good-looking dog, like, oh, man, that's a good-looking dog right there. You mind if I come out and pet it? What's his name? What's her name? You know, you start talking to the dog.
That's such a lost comment.
But you tell the dog that they're good looking.
Because they'll say, hey, man, your dog's really good looking. And I wish I had something to do with that. I mean, thank you. Yeah. I have nothing
But you don't do that with somebody's kid. Like, wow, man, that's actually a decent looking baby. It's not ugly.
No, people will tell you, oh, you have a beautiful child. Well, you hear that. If they don't, you don't. But if people do, especially when it's unsolicited, your friends will tell you that. But when strangers come up to take, oh, you have a beautiful young fill in the blank, you go, cool, man, thank you. You know?
Yeah. If they're ugly, they'll comment on how well behaved they are.
Correct.
What if they're ugly and misbehaved? Do they just say nothing or shut that kid up?
How old is your kid?
Wow. Okay.
All right, then.
Well, damn. Good luck to you.
The reason we asked what was or is wrong with your pet.
She's 15. She'll grow out of that, huh?
Yeah. On Wednesday, Richmond, Virginia Animal Care and Control announced that their largest feline resident, Patches, was adopted.
All Patches.
The enormous cutie weighs in at 40.3 pounds. It took less than 1 day for Patches to find his forever home. Shortly before he did, the Animal Care Center put out a Facebook listing sharing his best qualities. Did you wake up today and say, let's adopt the largest cat anyone has ever seen? If so, we have a cat for you. Meet Patches. All 40.3 pounds of him.
Jeez, man.
He's been regulated to a very special
40
diet.
pounds?
He is on an exercise plan.
Is he?
Very sweet.
Is he really on an exercise plan?
They reiterated that they hope Patch's new owner is committed to helping him get to a safe and healthy weight. Until then, we will marvel at his glorious, gluttonous body. As announced, the good news, the gray and white cat was finally adopted there. Patches is adopted and leaving the Richmond area care and control. 40 pounds of love right there. His new owner commented on the video with a sweet picture of Patches at his new home with another cat and a small dog.
They would just cut Patches off from Sweet Tea.
You think that other cat's like, what in the F is that? How long does a shelter keep an animal before, it sends it to the happy farm?
I have no idea.
Because it seems like, something like patches, man. If I want to get a cat for my
update
kids.
On patches.
All right, Pat, there's an update on 40-pound patches?
38.
Hey, all right.
38 pounds already. Well, Honey was like that. When my wife adopted Honey from an animal shelter, one of the reasons she did was because Honey was just giant. I don't know what she weighed. In proportion to her
she's
body.
not a big dog.
But that dog, it took like 6 months and finally got the dog down to a healthy weight where he could take walks.
Really?
Didn't have knee problems, wasn't lethargic all the time.
How does that happen?
You know what? You have someone who leaves the food out all the time. Beagles are insatiable.
Well, I was going to say,
bagels and
beagles too,
sure.
right? So they'll eat till they die. So if the owner, Miles was just about to say it, if the owner doesn't pay attention, those dogs will just...
Even if you feed the cat and the cat walks away from the bowl, the dog will finish every drop of food anywhere it can find it. It'll get into the trash can. Those dogs are insatiable.
Right. Eating with more than like 2 people is like swimming in the Great Barrier Reef. Right. There's just a shark around that at any time could attack your food.
What was the thing you read me, Miles? Was it like a sheriff somewhere or something? I guess like they found a stray dog or something. And I guess the dog was cute enough and the sheriff would put out a post in the local paper or Facebook group like, hey, we'd love for someone to adopt this dog. We can tell it's young, maybe 2 years old, with the right home, blah, 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 all the sales pitch. But then he made it a point to add, clearly there are a few screws loose. Mm-hmm. And to me, that is a quote. I'm like, no one's going to adopt that dog.
As this dog is it's whack.
Right.
Just so you know.
It's cute. It's nice. It's crazy.
Random.
Hello, Andy. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and
whore.
Andy, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's see here. All right, let's ask you this one. What would you say is the unhealthiest part of your lifestyle? What is the unhealthiest thing you do?
My diet.
Yeah, what's that?
His diet.
Your diet.
Anything red meats, in excess. Massively excess.
Okay, how many times do you eat red meat a week?
Every day, probably.
Okay. What else do you eat that's bad?
Sweets, edibles.
Okay.
All right. Well, how much do you weigh?
I weigh 254 pounds.
254 pounds. How tall are you?
5'11".
5'11". All right, it's not unheard of, but you're right on the border there. Has the doctor given you the warnings about consuming the red meat and candy, or do you just avoid the doctor knowing what they're going to tell you?
Yeah, I don't do doctors. There's a lot of people you see before you die.
Well, that's another unhealthy part of your lifestyle,
I was
Andy.
going to say, that's probably number one.
Right.
Yeah.
You already know what they're going to tell you. You know what they're going to tell you. I go to see the doctor. I know what he's going to. Hey, man, first of all, you need to quit smoking. They're not wrong. I know I'm going to hear that. They're going to tell me you really need, when I'm honest about how much alcohol I consume, they're going to tell me you should cut down on your alcohol consumption. Again, they're not wrong. And if they ask about actual drug use and you answer honestly, they're like, well, a couple of these we don't care, but legally I cannot condone the use of this. But in the end, when I go back and visit them the next year, we have the exact same conversation. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Well, that's you. So, those are things that you can control. Like Andy, you might not know it. You might have high cholesterol, which they can control. You might have high blood pressure.
Right, that would be the thing I would look for.
So it's not really like what you're doing or not doing, but is there a way that they can help you with something you already have?
That would be the difference why I'd go to the doctor, because so far the doctors get irritated when I get a clean bill of health because I don't live the healthiest lifestyle. But if they said, hey, this is because you're doing this, or there's something like you have high blood pressure, then I'm going to start listening to them.
Well, after a certain age, you just got to go check.
Man, I'm telling you.
I have friends that were they weren't overweight, they weren't this, they weren't that,
but things happen.
Right, exactly, and they were getting to that age, about 40, where they didn't get regular checkups, and there was something wrong. Look, you can have a good diet and stuff, and still have, like Miles saying, cholesterol problems or blood pressure.
Anything
what do they call it?
genetic,
silent killer or something Well,
think about it. You said it happens at 40. That's for sure. I want to say it starts about 35. Start watching these late night ads for crap you never knew existed. And they go, okay, I got a few years. Then they hit 40, and now 25% of these ads pertain to you. That, brother, you hit 50, just pay attention to every commercial. Because at some point, they're just going to mention it. If you're 50 and you're still alive, the chances of you having this, not that it's a great chance you have it, but the chances of you getting it escalate, exponentially.
Sure. We're also the only country in the world where somebody goes and is educated for 10 years to become a doctor. Mm-hmm. And it's a big deal, and a lot of people don't, have the ability to even do that much education, let alone be smart enough to do it. But they do. And then we watch a television commercial for 30 seconds. And now me, who's sitting there at home with my GED, is going to go to my doctor and tell them
what's wrong,
if something is right for me. Because I saw a commercial that said, ask your doctor if chlorified is right for you.
Sure.
And so then I go and go, hey, doc, man, just armchairing it here, a little bit of, a little QB in the lazy boy, but do you think this drug might be right for me?
I wonder what percentage.
Say, no, that's for diabetes, and you don't have diabetes.
But I wonder what percentage of that has helped out the doctors, right? So I want to say it's during the Clinton administration where they said, go ahead, advertise any medication you want on TV. And that's when it exploded. And everyone self-diagnoses. I mean, you also contribute to people being hypochondriacs. But I wonder what percentage of people go in and say, hey, I finally heard the symptoms that have been bugging me, right? And successfully they figured it out. Or what percentage of doctor says, bro, this, first of all, it's for women, and you're a guy. So you don't have to worry about not having a period. You never had one. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering what percentage of people get it right versus the percentage of people that get it wrong.
Reason we asked what is the unhealthiest part of your lifestyle, Steve, you're right. Oral sex may be the biggest factor in the rise of throat cancer in the United States, as I can't speak right now.
How was your weekend, buddy?
Oh, man. A doctor at the Cancer of Sciences at the University of Birmingham said that there's been a rapid increase in throat cancer in the past 2 decades, calling it an epidemic in both the U.S. and the U.K.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which tells you something about our sexual habits. For throat cancer, the main risk is the number of lifetime sexual partners, especially with oral sex. Those with 6 or more lifetime oral sex partners are 8.5 times more likely to develop throat cancer than those who did not practice oral sex. And that's both men and women with HPV.
You know what that's going to be? Who's our guy? All I do is win. What the hell's his name?
Oh, DJ Khaled?
Yeah, he'll be like, I ain't got throat cancer either. That's why I don't do it. Kiss my ass.
I don't know. This is just going to give some people an excuse not to put in the work.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that just a convenient excuse?
No, because why would anyone put out that study? Most people at least want to receive, man.
They say it takes typically years after being infected for the HPV cancer to develop. But they state it's unclear if having HPV alone is enough to cause the cancer. There's other factors, smoking, chewing tobacco. That can also lead to those cancers. More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
Rocks don't jump off the road and attack until you get a brand new windshield.
Nice.
That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and 1 replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor, a neighborly company.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
It is random question 206-803-ROCK.
By the way, we do have a question from one of our texters here. Unfortunately, we cannot text you back. I do not know why. We will try to figure that out.
Oh, wow.
It says, at what age did you guys start regularly seeing a doctor? I'm 28. I do not have a primary care physician. I'm not going to lie to you, brother. Probably 35, and a lot of it regularly, and a lot of it just had to do with having insurance.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a doctor, but I bet only in like my late 30s, 40s have I got make sure you got to get that physical.
Sure.
I did things at the doctor, but regularly,
as a
probably
regular,
not until I was about 30.
Right. I mean, we all went to the doctor when things went wrong, but as far as going, we just assume something's gone wrong since the last time we saw you. Yeah, I mean,
look, even if you have insurance, it's 1 physical a year.
Correct.
Unless something else is wrong with you. And then everything kind of builds down from there. So if that's regularly going to the doctor, I think probably the dentist more.
Absolutely. I have a dentist appointment Thursday. And I thought we had something Thursday morning. So my wife reminded me, she goes, hey, man, and even sent me an email to remind me. And she brought it up this weekend. Do you want me to cancel it? So I never want to go, but said, honestly, I think we have something that morning, so I might have to reschedule it. And I came in this morning, looked at the calendar, I'm like, God damn it. So I'll be there Thursday morning. And that's how the same stuff.
Now they've changed it from 2 times a year to 3 times a year.
Why did that happen?
Like within the last year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, same thing, man. They like, we'll see you, and they give a month. And I'm like,
every 4 months.
I don't know what the hell. What in the hell, man? Hello, Nick. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Nick, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, let's go with this one. As far as concerts go or shows, who are you glad you saw, and who do you wish you had seen?
Oh, man, the wish I had seen list, the bigger than the wish I had the good list.
And the older you get, the more that continues.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for reminding me. I've seen the Foo Fighters before Taylor passed, and they were one of my top ones.
Yeah, we saw them at believe it or not, the Showbox.
Which was cool, you know. You're not thinking, and I felt bad because I saw them at the Showbox, right? And the Foo Fighters are known for very high energy shows. This was no exception. But the bass player, and I'm a bass player, he just wasn't really doing anything on stage. He played excellent, but the rest of the band, they're jumping around doing their thing. So I made the comment the following Monday on the air. I go, man, oh man, I don't know what's up with him. He just kind of stood in the corner. Well, one of his friends texted in to let me know, hey, dude, be glad he played the show at all. Basically, he had bad diarrhea.
Yeah.
And so I did not know that. And as you might imagine, he did not announce this to the crowd. But I just thought it was strange that he seemed so solitary in this particular show. And I explained if he jumped, he'd have pooped. So I felt bad about that.
Yeah, that happens, right?
So who do you wish you would have seen that you didn't get a chance to?
Man, I guess go with like Hendrix.
Sure.
Jimi Hendrix would have been nice.
Okay.
Even people like, I miss Tom Petty. He came to Seattle a couple of years ago, and someone even said, do you want to go? And I just made the comment, I can't really do it this year, but next time he comes around, because he toured pretty regularly, next time he comes around, for sure. And then he died.
Right, he would play the Gorge. Petty's one that I bring up all the time. Because there's obviously artists that died when I was like young or something.
Yeah, when you were a kid, sure.
That's like a wish list. But Petty, to me, is one of those annoying ones. Because every year, it'd be like, I should really go to that show. And anybody that goes to see Petty, especially the Gorge, goes, it's an amazing show. You would really like it.
Well, Willie Nelson, for me. I mean, I was reading about the 90th birthday party, the 2-night thing they had down in L.A.
You're just not a real music fan, Miles. I've seen him twice.
Well, there you go.
Have you seen him twice?
And you know what?
Yes.
He's not going to tour at 90. He's doing these one-off shows for his 90th birthday, but by no means is Willie Nelson going to do like 30 dates.
Well, how long can you predict a tour is going to go if you start at age 90? Like,
Well, he would do it if he could.
I'm sure.
But I just don't think he
even when
can.
I saw him, though, and that had to be like 06, 07.
So in our lifetime, he's never been young.
Right, but even then, like, he sings some songs, but he has his whole family with him singing and stuff.
Right. Yeah, apparently his son's great.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I will say Willie at the Gorge is a very unique experience.
I'm sure it is, for a million different reasons. You know, but now that I'm getting older and all these other artists are getting older, I realize I'll go see artists that I don't need to be dying to see, but it's the opportunity. One would be Billy Joel, all right?
All right.
Yep.
His show was fine. I mean, in the end, it's an old man playing piano. Yes, we know his songs. Yes, he can play the hell out of the piano, but even my favorite Billy Joel song that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Piano Man?
Maybe. It's okay, but I'm thinking, all right.
But he's not bad live.
He's not bad live. He was actually, I thought he was more entertaining between the songs because he has some pretty funny things to say between songs. Then he played a song, and I'm like, yeah, I know it, but I kind of don't care. All that said, I'm glad I saw him just to say I saw him. But I'm like, man, I'd have spent like $300 on this ticket. I'm not dying to see you. I'm just convinced you're going to die soon.
I saw Elton John on his farewell tour. Because I'd never seen
How good of a show was that?
It was awesome.
Right.
I saw the B-52s when they came to town on their farewell tour.
And you said, what's his name?
Oh, I loved it. It was one of the best shows.
Baby!
Exactly.
And you said he's
Seattle. They were great. I mean, they really were. They put on a hell of a show. Now, I went to see Hall & Oates at Key Arena.
I saw that one.
believing that might be the last time I'd see them. I think they'll still come around.
I don't know.
The show was garbage because they were having so many technical issues that Daryl Hall about lost his goddamn mind.
And you can tell they still do. I know they don't like each other. It's no big deal. But for the purposes of a show, you thought, okay, we'll put it on. It felt like two guys that don't like each other putting on a show. And the problem was, like, they're actually a really good band. You kind of giggle at them, but, like, they got it going on, right? But somehow at that show, I'm like, I feel more energized listening to you on record because now I'm looking at you and clearly you guys hate each other.
Yep. I saw Prince twice, one in D.C. and one at Showbox. Ted was
I was there for Prince.
I did see Prince. I'm glad I saw. I did not know he was going to die soon. I had a chance to see, I was like 16, I think, and Michael Jackson was still doing the Thriller tour, so he's as big as he's ever going to be. And my aunt asked me if I wanted to go. She was taking my cousin, and I'm like, nah, because I was such a rock guy back then. Like, I liked Michael Jackson. I knew his music. Just like most people, you know every song he played, but I'm like, no. Now
I was glad I went to see Lionel Richie. Like,
See,
all these guys are Earth, Wind, and Fire. There's all these bands that I grew up with, and you just need to see them. And so the reason we asked, who are you glad you saw and who do you wish you'd seen? Aerosmith made their announcement that they're embarking on their farewell tour. So a 40-day run, North America only. We do get a date here in Seattle, a Climate Pledge, at the end of November, like on a Tuesday night.
They're coming here then.
So it's like a Tuesday night again.
God damn it.
It's either Monday or Tuesday.
See, this is what happens when guys get old.
Always.
Because KISS is going to play Monday. They're 100 years old. Aerosmith will play it Tuesday because they're 100 years old.
Have you seen Aerosmith?
Don't blame their age. It's where we live.
I'm blaming their age, Ted. I don't care.
Shinedown's not old. They're playing Sunday.
They're old. They're lying about their age, Ted.
Have you guys seen Aerosmith?
I've never seen Aerosmith.
It's a great show. I mean, I saw them when I was 19 on a permanent vacation tour. They had Guns N' Roses, a new band opening.
Wow.
And they played in front of the curtain. Because Aerosmith's one of those bands that used to do a curtain.
Yeah.
So seriously, Guns N' Roses had about 8 feet in front of the stage to play. And they basically just came out and played Appetite.
Were you aware of who Guns N' Roses was at the time, or did you walk away going,
Welcome to the Jungle was a single that had just come out.
Okay, that was their first one, believe it.
So we knew the song.
But you didn't know the band. You knew the song.
We had not heard Sweet Child of Mine yet.
Okay.
That's how early it was.
Wow.
So they came out, they did Rocket Queen, Paradise City.
How good of a show was it?
My Michelle. Unbelievable. I mean, they both were great. I remember leaving there going, Aerosmith did not do a good job closing that show after Guns N' Roses played.
Right.
Because Guns N' Roses, I mean, this is Sway and Axl just flying all around.
They're young, they're hopped up.
They're all smoking cigarettes, they're on stage. You can tell they're completely hammered, and they just rocked. It was a pretty awesome show.
I think the other one for me would be Linkin Park. Like, I like Linkin Park.
Never saw him, you said?
Never saw him.
You know what made it bad for me, man? Like, Linkin Park, never been my favorite. I don't dislike them. But then we interviewed Chester. Chester was one of the coolest cats we've had in studio.
I missed that, too.
Right, and then like a year later, he died. But it's just one of these situations where every once in a while, you meet someone where you're not necessarily fond of their music, blah, 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 but you like them so much you want them to do well. And then you want to see them go do their thing.
He was like in a punk band then.
Yeah, it was like
he and his buddies.
I'll go check out Linkin Park, man, next time we come around.
Yeah, I mean, again, that one's different because he committed suicide. But that's just one of those ones where I just assumed at some point I'd be able to see him. Like Aerosmith, I was going to go see at White River. This was a few years ago. And then I think Steven Tyler fell or something.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yep. So they had to cancel like a whole tour. You kind of go, all right.
You know, it's kind of funny now. Now I feel more prone to want to go see a band. Not because they're getting old, but because I am.
Well, both of them.
Like, Jesus, man. Look, I need to go. But they're only in their 30s. Right. They are.
The biggest date right now on my calendar is Duran Duran.
Yeah.
At the end of the month.
I got tickets for that one.
And Climate Pledge. I've seen them before. I've seen them once. I was 12 years old. They were my first concert. So I'm just like, yes, I am doing this again.
Who opened for Duran Duran?
The Go-Go's.
That's not bad, man.
No.
I'll say the first band I saw, I went to a KISS concert, but opening for KISS, Night Ranger.
That's not bad either.
It was,
dude, if Night Ranger came around,
I couldn't do it.
They would be with like Slaughter.
Then I definitely wouldn't do it. I'd be more apt to go see Night Ranger.
Yes,
if Night Ranger plays solo, man. Look, here's the thing. When I saw Night Ranger, it was their first album. So Sister Christian, which what everyone knows before, had not come out yet.
Still Rockin' America.
I think maybe that was the tune. Yeah. There was a reason why we didn't mind seeing it. I mean, at the time, it seemed cool. You know, KISS was doing their thing. And Night Ranger went on. And then the next show I went to, was the next year, another KISS show, Queensryche. And Queensryche to me was what Guns N' Roses was to you, where it's like, yeah, every once in late night, the local rock station would play Queen of the Reich. That's all I remember. Mm-hmm. And it came out on stage, and Geoff Tete was wearing this gold lame shirt. I just remember I could not take my eyes off of this weird tank top he's wearing. I think they did a good job. I remember his shirt more than the show. Yeah. It's a very weird experience.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's different now. He's insane, but, you know, I saw Kanye when he wasn't the headliner. Right. That was awesome, right? He had John Legend with him.
You told us about Kanye before I'd never heard of Kanye.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, man, there's this guy, blah, blah, blah. He was a producer, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah.
I've never seen Ozzy.
Nope. Have I ever seen Ozzy?
You didn't see him?
You know, man, I've never seen Ozzy Osbourne live.
No, I heard the story about when you guys were at a show and Zakk Wylde fell over. And then somebody picked him up and he gave you a sweaty hug.
Oh, yeah. I just assumed everybody was there at that show.
Nope, never saw Ozzy.
Never saw. Let's see. Somebody here says, so we were talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire. You're saying, man, Night Ranger not so bad. Somebody says, we're going to see Chicago this summer.
I saw Chicago. They were great.
You've seen Chicago?
Yeah, I saw Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. And Earth, Wind, and Fire played on September 21st.
Nice.
So when they closed the show in September, it was the 21st night of September, and the place lost it. Mostly because everyone was drunk on wine.
Yeah.
But still, like the moment was like, wow, this is timing out.
Somebody says first show I saw was Jackson Brown.
I saw him at Disney.
Are you kidding me?
He was great.
Jesus.
He was great.
All right. Have you seen this person?
Hey, look, you sit on a cooler, you eat meat and cheeses, and you drink wine even though you hate it.
Somebody here says,
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to see the show there. It's a great venue.
Yeah.
go see Santana in concert, and they say it's like seeing the Scorpions live. The show kicks ass. I've never heard anyone compare Santana
it's a little bit different.
to the Scorpions.
It's a little bit more, he goes off a lot.
Well, of course, that's his
it's
thing.
not song. It's Carlos and a PRS. It's kind of like when Neil Schoen does his Journey thing, and you're like, are you ever going to come back and play Journey songs?
Yeah, but Santana's good.
He's going to noodle for 25 minutes. So it's kind of the same thing, but Carlos does it in between songs for a little bit. And then that bridge, like a jazz band, goes into the next song. There's no stopping the show.
Because he's a guitar player more than a singer. So if you're going to...
Most everyone else sings on stage except for Carlos.
Except for... You know, I went to see that look, this is all about getting ass. I just started dating my wife, and it was Maroon 5 opening for, oh, Christ, what's his name? Your body's a wonder. John Mayer. Now, look, man. I mean, when she presents this to me, right, exactly. In my mind, I'm like, could you think of two worse acts? So, whatever. Again, I'm getting laid. We are fresh into this relationship. So I went. Honest to God, it was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
I typically, when you don't leave, you have no expectations.
No, I thought it was going to suck.
I think those sometimes are better. Like, you don't know the band. You don't know what you're getting into.
I kind of knew Maroon 5. I'd seen Maroon 5 one time at the 930 Club. It was like a promotional thing. And it was their first album. They're a little, hungrier and all this. Well, at this point, they'd blown up a bit. But they went out and played. It's kind of cool. Then John Mayer, to his credit, that guy can crush the guitar. All I knew John Mayer for were those terrible-ass songs that made it to the radio, which is radio's fault, of which we work. When I saw him live, I'm like, that guy was so good. It was unbelievable. Then I started covering AC/DC. Then both bands jump on stage together and did like one of the craziest jams.
Oh, dude.
John Mayer shreds.
You would never, ever know this. I'm telling you now, if you like good guitar playing, and it sounds ridiculous, my mouth is going to say this, go see John Mayer play.
Who's the dude with the West Virginia guitar? Brad Paisley. Country
really?
guy. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Like, he's obviously famous for being a country artist, but you see him in concert, he will play some covers and shred.
Really?
So all right. So this was probably 94, 95-ish. So the band coming in is Cake. They just released their debut album, Motorcade of Generosity. It was on a small indie label called Capricorn, right? Mm-hmm. So no one had really ever heard of this band yet. So they come in for an interview, and the guy who comes in, it's like the lead singer and another guy. The other guy, he's got 7 different Fisher-Price toys.
Right.
All right? That is what he's playing. Everything from the xylophone to the piano to shaker toys. He has, and he puts them down on the counter. I'm like, come on, man, what is going on here? And so then they break into a couple acoustic songs. I'm just sitting there with my mouth open like, this is amazing. It was insane how good they were. So like, hey, man, you want to go see us at Fletcher's? I'm like, hell yeah. So they gave me 2 tickets. Went to that show. It was just like, oh, my God.
Really?
This band kicks ass. They're a great band live.
See, that's so funny, because I can only assume it was an off night. It was like a Sunday night. But that was one of the few shows of a band I liked where I was like, this sucks.
Yep.
He just kept talking.
Really? Okay. Yeah, right. Shut up, man.
Miles had always told me, somebody else told me, another friend of ours that works here, we're like, look, I've seen him like 5 times. I don't know what was going on. He just seemed very preachy, if that makes sense.
And nobody wants to hear.
And he gave away a tree on stage. Ooh. The show was at the Paramount. Right. The woman who won it was in the top section. And we had to wait the entire time for her to walk down there.
No, I disagree. The one thing, my buddy said this years ago when we played in a band, and at that time, when you're a teen especially, any concert you can go to, you want to go to. And he said, hey, man, the one thing I figured out, so we're going to experiment this on stage, is if a band is playing, whatever you give away on stage, people want. Right? And then we started paying attention, and I'm like, man, he's right. And sure, if you're going to throw your guitar drumsticks, we get it. But he brought in a wet loaf of bread. If they're people fought for it, but we're playing, and I'm like, he is not kidding me. Now, the only band I've seen do it professionally, I went to see Soul Coughing years ago, and they kind of break down their set for a second. They had a garden hose, brand new, totally rolled up, right? But because I'm not kidding you, so it's like, hey, we have a garden hose if anyone wants it. And the place went ballistic. So they went for the garden hose. And then later they gave out, it was an oil painting of Elvis Presley, and not a good one, right? I mean, it's clearly Elvis, this real tacky frame. People lost their freaking minds to get it. I'm like, man, if you are in a band, do me a favor, local musicians, just bring crap. Like if your wife or girlfriend says, can you get this out of the house? Take it to the show and then throw it out in the audience.
They used to have this live venue in Baltimore called Bowhaggers. And within a month and a half, I saw Morphine.
All right.
I saw G Love and Special Sauce.
Yep.
I saw Sun Volts and one more band, and I can't remember who the hell it was, but it was maybe Incubus. But it was still
That's not bad.
No, it was just this club. It was like one band after another. Random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Random. Probably can't do it now, but seeing P-Funk is a pretty good time, too.
I would like to see P-Funk. By the way, somebody here says that Night Ranger, very underrated.
I believe it.
Brad Gillis is an awesome guitar player. Man, I believe you on that. It's just more, you only get to know bands, if you don't see them live, through the songs they put out. And even then, not even the songs they put out, the songs you're going to hear on radio. Mm-hmm. So that was my thing with John Mayer. And I hear your body's a wonderland. And I'm like, I do not want to pay money to see this guy. Well, joke was on me. Tickets for free. Went to see him. And it ended up being a great show. Sweet. That said, I would still never buy one of his albums. No, because the songs that he plays, I think, are crap. But he is a performer. He only played like 3 songs that you knew from the album. The rest of it was him jamming with the other bands.
Right. And you got to remember, there's a reason that he plays guitar for the Grateful Dead. Regardless of all the cheesy pop stuff he did.
Yeah.
There is a reason he segued over from being a pop star to probably playing in one of the bands. It's the most difficult to learn all the music because they have so much.
They have so many songs.
And they were not happy when they picked him.
Oh, everyone
the fans went on.
No. Fans were not happy
and
at all.
Now they're so happy that he's there.
Correct. So John Mayer's been through this a couple times, right? Because when I heard about him, he was playing fraternities in like Virginia and Maryland and stuff, and they were like, "This guy's great."
So was Dave Matthews.
Yeah, but like his first song just was very poppy, and it's like it took him in a whole other direction.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it helped his bank account.
I'm just saying it's ironic that he's already John Mayer, and then when he signs on with the Dead, I mean, I knew people personally, they were like, this is the worst thing to ever happen to the Grateful Dead. Now they're all like, dude, the guy shreds.
Joining an established band is like being cast as Batman or James Bond. Yeah. You're going to face backlash until you prove that you're good enough to be there.
More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
Hey there, it's your friend Stormy Warren here, and I want to invite you to my new home, the Big 615, exclusively on TuneIn. So what is the Big 615? Well, simply put, it's the official home of country music broadcasting live from Nashville to the world. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. Get the latest on country music, from your favorite artists to the hottest songs climbing up the charts. Oh, and it's commercial free. That means a whole lot more music and a whole lot more country. Hear it all on the Stormy Warren Show, weekdays from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. And I look forward to having you join me on the Big 615.
This is your country station.
The Big 615.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Men's Room World Tour, stop number 2 going down Sunday. Tony V's Garage in Everett.
That's right.
A little pre-funk for the Shinedown show from 3 until 6 at Tony V's, which is like 2 blocks away from the Angel of the Winds Arena, the Everett Event Center, if you will. We'll have some acoustic music there from Ashes to New, who are opening up the show.
That is correct.
Along with 3 Days Grace and Shinedown, maybe some special guests. Definitely the beer, sausage, and salt on hand. And again, the event absolutely free.
Man, I hope Ashes blows up. Just so, as we had that last question, they can say, dude, I saw them at Tony V's Garage at Everett, man. They were the open. Can you believe that? Because we got people still checking in. I saw Run DMC with Aerosmith in the 80s. Someone says, I know Iron Maiden, Slayer, Ozzy, they're great. Just not as entertaining. I really enjoy Megadeth live. Alice Cooper, one of a kind. Nickelback, great live. Ted, you'll appreciate this. Justin Timberlake kills it live. John Mayer, yeah, we know, plays with the Grateful Dead. Someone here, my first show, Simon and Garfunkel. Ooh. And I like this one that says, I saw the Smashing Pumpkins once, and wow, worst show I've ever seen. That is what they said. Okay. I'm not making that up.
Aaron Jones, he played Red Festival.
I know. That's unbelievable, man.
Just to think about that now. Like, I mean, he brought the house down. Don't get me wrong. If you knew Aaron and you knew his music locally, that's one thing. But knowing where he is now compared to when he played, I mean,
he was recommended to us. We're like, sure, man, anyone who wants to play. And I want to say he closed it out, the first Red Fest we did. Mm-hmm. And everyone was glued watching this guy. And I'm like, God damn, that guy's good. Didn't expect everything that's happened since. Did not expect, but not surprised.
No. Ironically, I can tie Aaron and Justin Timberlake together.
All right, how do you weave these two together here?
The Seahawks, the night before the Super Bowl they won, I saw Timberlake at what was then the Key Arena.
Correct.
Awesome, great show. So much excitement in there. He even came out and was like, "See."
Of course.
Right? He loved it. Thought I was going to get punched by teenage girls because the woman I was with over and imbibed too much. We had to leave.
Okay, all right.
A couple songs left, but I mean, I can't explain. I've never been a death stare that bad when we left early. Then the following year, Aaron had been on the podcast, and the night before the Seahawks were playing in that back-to-back Super Bowls, we did the stage announcement for him at the Crocodile.
Okay, all right.
Both awesome shows and stuff, but yeah. Like Timberlake on his game years ago, like the town was electric. I mean, that show was great.
Yeah. I've already puts on a great show.
I believe. I would actually go see Timberlake now.
Well, and it's like his stage moves. It's just him. There's no opener. I always forget that he starts in NSYNC. So there's just dance numbers and stuff that'll just blow you away. And you're like, holy crap.
Look, I have a lot of respect for the guy, and I'm not going to lie to you. Saturday Night Live had a lot to do with me crossing the threshold to enjoying Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
But then he was responsible for bringing back that movie Trolls.
Oh, yeah.
He was, no, not all, yeah. Then I started hating him again. Like, brother, I understand that they meant a lot to you. So to his credit, he kind of got this movie produced. He put it out there. My kids loved it. I hated it. I had to sit through it.
Castle showed me a video of the Muse show last week.
Oh, yeah.
The Climate Pledge. I'm like, man, I need to go see that band.
They look good.
That's a good call.
They were, I mean, from what he showed me, I was like, dude, this is a show. He's like, yeah, they're amazing live. I'm like, all right, I missed that. I did go see Depeche Mode there.
How were they?
Well, I liked them growing up.
I like Twinkies growing up.
You just never know what you're going to get.
Right.
It's like, you have tickets to The Cure, right?
Correct.
All right, well, see.
I think.
They're either going to be great or they're going to be like Depeche Mode. And in my mind, just okay.
Look, I'll be honest. I like The Cure, but I truly have no idea what to expect. Because I enjoy their music, but I think even in their heyday, there's nothing about them that screams like, hey, this is going to be exciting. You feel me?
They have some good tunes.
They have some very good tunes. I just don't. It's like going to the symphony. You might really like the symphony, but people are not throwing up devil horns jumping around.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
They are not.
Yes, I get the feel. Oh, that's right. You know firsthand.
I do.
Hello, Danny. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Danny, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, let's go with this one here. What would you say that you need to stop doing?
Ooh.
What in your life should you stop doing? Or what have you stopped doing?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I had started chewing tobacco again recently, and I did that for, about, I don't know, probably another 8 months or a year, and then I recently just quit a couple weeks ago.
How long did you go in between the first time?
Oh, man, I don't know. It seems like I quit for a couple years and then pick it back up, So, yeah, I think
is there a trigger?
The first time.
Is there a trigger, like around your friends who are drinking, or is it like stress related, or like, oh, I can do this and not get addicted again? Like, what is your thought process?
It's that one. It's like, man, that's delicious. I love that stuff. I could probably, it's been long enough. I could probably try it again. I won't get, addicted and start chewing a can a day again.
Because tobacco
doesn't take long. It does not take long for that to happen.
No, your body throws a party as soon as it's reintroduced.
Yeah. So, other than that, anything else that you probably, since you have stopped, anything in the future you need to stop?
Probably, man, I'm real bad at, eating at night. Like, I'll wake up at, 1 in the morning and just eat, whatever's in the fridge or, a bunch of ice cream. Half the time I don't even remember it till my girlfriend's like, there's crumbs all over the damn kitchen, blah, 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 you know. Like,
I do the same thing, man.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that, dude. Ice cream, cinnamon toast crunch, and peanut butter jelly sandwiches are the three main culprits for I probably shouldn't eat. Man. I know it's 12:30 at night, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Molly Moons.
I bought those Uncrustables because of you guys the other day.
I had one for lunch. That's what I had for lunch.
Are they as good as Miles? Because Miles cannot stop raving about these things now.
I mean, they're all right. I'm gonna try the air fryer. People have been thinking of like put some butter on them with a brush and then air fry them. They're pretty good. I think I'm gonna try that next time.
Okay, sounds pretty. Well, that's like a high-end snack of the night.
So you already know you're gonna get addicted to that, man.
I tried strawberry today. Strawberry jelly.
Strawberry. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. How was it?
Great. I just wish they would have crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah, that would be the win.
The main thing with Uncrustables is you just they can't be in the fridge too long.
Well, like they go bad?
They start getting a little bit stale.
They need to be stale.
Okay.
Like sometimes you go to a corner store and they'll just have them and you're like, oh, you know what? Screw it. I'll get one. And you're like,
yeah, I can't do that.
Like how many days do you if I were to buy them and I know they're fresh when I buy them, how many days do you think I get? So I got 4 of them in the fridge.
Well, that's the thing. They're usually frozen. Usually you just take them out to dethaw.
Maybe
like,
2 minutes.
Like in the morning before, like, you know what I mean? I mean, look, let's be honest. They're for children. So generally, you would just take one out like the night before and put it in your fridge and you could throw it in their lunch bag.
I mean, look, I know certain things are for children, but let's be honest. They don't have jobs.
Like if I want an Uncrustable, like you buy them, they're frozen. I probably, like if I was like, you know what, tonight when I get home, I would have taken it out, put it in the fridge when I left today.
How about Dino Nuggets? I know they say they're for kids. I would make them for my kids. They don't eat
delicious.
as many as you man,
they're just a good quality.
And you can
as
make,
far as the chicken and
like
the taste.
a poor man's chicken Parmesan sandwich. I'm telling you, a little red sauce, smell some cheese on there, and it's like, I know it's shaped like dinosaurs, but it's good.
I was at the store last night. I bought the Molly Moon has pints they sell.
Yeah.
They had salted caramel.
Oh.
God, that was a bad call.
I bought a miniature of Haagen-Dazs yesterday at the grocery store. My buddy said, why are you buying 2 little miniature containers? Wouldn't it be cheaper to buy a pint? I said it would. If I bought a pint and opened it, I don't know where that's headed.
That's what I'm saying.
So I had one tiny container last night. There's one in there.
It's amazing the mental game you go through. Like, I'm not eating one more bite.
I know.
One more. I'm going to cut myself off. Like, last call on Molly Moon.
It doesn't really matter.
I mean,
what is the danger of eating?
Well, I would like it for more than one night. But that's a danger.
But is that why you even buy it? I mean, to me, there's certain things you buy.
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
a couple nights.
I hear what you're saying, and I understand in theory this is going to last. Say if it'll last through Wednesday, but it's like we both know it's not. Mm-hmm. Why even kid ourselves? What is the danger, or what is the unhealthy thing about eating late night? Like
you just
don't digest
sitting there for you're dormant,
and you've probably eaten all the calories you should for the day, or you're
very likely.
Then also, if you're eating sugar and stuff at night, like your body doesn't know what to do, so it's just going to turn it into fat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of the
you're
best,
hibernating.
It's one of the best like guilty pleasures, but probably the worst thing you can do is eat.
That's why bears eat like crazy, then go to sleep for like 4 months.
You know, when you put it like that, like makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, Miles, I don't know why I think it's so funny. But like Target has like Target brand of stuff.
Okay.
So theirs are just called crustless.
Yeah, not uncrustable.
Have you tried them?
I have not.
All right.
But every time I go to Target now, I look at them, I'm like, I should just get them.
do it. Just do it. Why not?
Yeah, and again, uncrustable, I'm only used to it, but I'm like, oh, crustless.
Take those to a festival, you'll be the life of the party.
The last time I had a box of Uncrustables was because we took them to Meltdown.
Okay. All right. Raise, we ask, what do you have to or need to stop doing? A 41-year-old man who fathered more than 550 children worldwide and lying about it to parents, he has now been banned from donating any more of his spermatoza. The ruling comes as a result of a lawsuit filed against him by the foundation that serves to protect donor children rights and by a mother of one of the children that he allegedly fathered. He had previously been banned from donating to fertility clinics in the Netherlands in 2017 when it was learned that he had fathered more than 100 children there. So Dutch clinical guidelines state that donors are allowed for a maximum of 25 children within 12 mothers, or with 12 mothers.
That seems a lot anyway.
However, rather than ceasing donating, the man only identified as Jonathan from the Netherlands took his talents abroad and started donating his sperm online through advertisements and online forums.
When you trust, all right, I know you're desperate to have a kid. It's an online forum. It's not some reputable thing. You're on Reddit. It's like, I got sperm if you want it.
Yeah. Well, his lawyer said his client wanted to help people who were unable to conceive. But the judge who heard the case said the donor deliberately lied about this in order to persuade the parents to take him as a donor, according to the statement. The judge added that these parents are now confronted with the fact that the children in their family are part of a huge, quote, kinship network with hundreds of half-siblings, which they did not choose. There might be more kids. They do not know. He is now prohibited from donating his semen to new prospective parents after the issuing of the judgment. He is believed to have fathered somewhere between 550 and 600 children. Since he began donating sperm in 2007, he could face a fine up to $110,000 if he is ever caught donating his sperm again.
I want to say, when that story first broke, the main concern in the Netherlands was similar to Iceland.
Yeah, population.
Where it's like, look, man, we have a limited population anyway, and if they're not even all, but 10% are related, this is only going to make things worse. Meanwhile, Nick Cannon's like, what is the problem?
No problem for Nick. He's got...
I take care of all. I know all their names.
Yeah.
Does he?
He does say that he never gets them all together at once, which I think is kind of a shame. Because wouldn't you want to meet your half-brothers and sisters?
You would, but you got to think about coordinating that, man.
Yeah, but he can. He's Nick Cannon.
That's what I mean. The coordination of that many kids, though, because how many different baby mamas does he have?
Well, they should come over with him. If it's Christmas Day or whatever the deal is.
But they might want to spend...
That's a lot of kids.
But I got to spend time with my family. Nick, look, you got 15 of them there. I'm sorry the other 8 can't make it.
We'll do it in shifts.
Right.
Like half of them in the morning, half of them at night. But if anyone wants to meet the other siblings, that they're able to. That's all. I think that's fair.
They can do that. He's saying he cannot get them all together sometimes. So if 2 babies' mama say, hey, you want to meet at the park?
The way I read that story
can.
He was not going to do that. He's like, there's no way in hell. I'm getting all these people together. He's like, there's no way. I'm not doing it.
That tells me that's about him. It has nothing to do with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you don't meet without me being there.
He's got a dining room table that would seat everybody.
Do you think so?
Rich people have those big-ass dining room tables. They don't even know.
But how many people are we talking? We're talking like 18 people.
How many kids does he have, 10?
Is it 10 or 11?
11, I think.
Well, the problem is that's the adult table. So you'd have to find a kiddie table in the kitchen, stashed over in the corner. They're not old enough to be in there.
Random.
Hello, Robert. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Robert, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's go with this one. What would you say would be your neighbor from hell experience? Your neighbor from hell.
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I've had some bad neighbors.
Okay.
Boy, that really is tough. First thing that comes to mind is some really, really loud neighbors I had when I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Loud in what way? Just music or everything they did?
Everything they did. I mean, it's like it was an older housing area. So it was like even if they were in their kitchen and I was in the opposite end of my house, I could hear basically if they were being loud, which it seems like they always were. I could hear what was going on in their house, and I knew more about them than I really wanted to, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever confront them about it, or did you just accept the fact that this is who they are?
I accepted the fact, but I tried to drop hints every once in a while when I had them over. It was like, but they never seemed to catch on.
Okay. I had a neighbor that would decide to do car repair work. Probably from about 10 o'clock at night to about 2 or 3 in the morning.
Of course.
Music blaring, lights on. I mean, working on the car, banging on stuff. He had a baby. He'd have some beers. It was not his primary driver. It was the car that he was working on in his garage.
I get it.
So it's like a hobby, like anything else.
Probably an old muscle car that he liked to rev the engine on, right?
And you understood why he was doing it. This is his hobby. He's home from work. He's cracked some beers.
And he has a baby.
He's going to do one more thing tonight before he works on something else tomorrow or whatever the deal is. But that's what he would do. Every single night in the garage, lights on, working on the car, music blaring. You just couldn't open up the windows or anything.
But that's a problem.
Yeah.
I have an answer to one of the previous questions that you asked, if you don't mind, real quick.
What do we ask?
It was a concert that or I should say, person or band that you wish you'd seen and someone that you're glad that you did.
All right.
I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan before he died, and that was one of the best shows I've ever seen.
I believe that.
It was the strangest concert I've ever been to. It was a triple bill. It was in Hawaii. It was at the Aloha Stadium. It was either 87 or 88. He was the opening act, and the closing act was ZZ Top. The middle act was Run DMC.
Damn. See, wow. I can't imagine being in Hawaii and then also having something cool to do.
Right,
it just seems like when you're in Hawaii is the cool thing to do.
Well, no, like we get, you can surf and all these things. What we're saying is We don't imagine being in Hawaii and then having
entertainment,
a cool
on top of
experience that's not Hawaii-centric.
Exactly. Like, going to the Pro Bowl or something like that. You just happen to be there that weekend.
Like everyone said.
Not that anyone cares about the Pro Bowl, but
we went snorkeling. We had a luau. I saw ZZ Top. Like, you are the first person. In all the tales I've heard of going to Hawaii, everyone has the same story.
I went on a snorkeling cruise.
Right. This is the first I've heard of ZZ Top show. Especially Run DMC in the middle.
That's cool, though.
That was, I mean, it was funny because obviously they had just hit with Walk This Way with Aerosmith, and they were just coming back with Permanent Vacation, which was hitting really big. So it was a strange concert. It was a mixed crowd, but one of the best I've ever seen. And just like I said, being able to see Stevie Ray Vaughan before he cashed it in was awesome.
Well, you understand?
I was gonna say that's also they get away with that. I saw him in a rock show.
Yeah, because I did the crossover, man, and that changed everything.
You know the story of Stevie Ray Vaughan's helicopter situation?
Yeah.
So he got on. They had a scheduling issue with Clapton and with Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Okay,
and one of them was supposed to go on before the other. My guess would be Stevie Ray Vaughan was supposed to go on first,
probably
whatever the deal was. Either way, Stevie Ray Vaughan got on Clapton's helicopter that crashed.
Right.
So he was not even supposed to be on that thing.
Jeez, man.
And if it would have been reversed, you wouldn't have Eric Clapton. But either way, that's the way it
Damn,
down. Raise who asks, what's your neighbor from hell? A resident in Arkansas claims her neighbors have been defecating in buckets and said the poop washes into her yard when it rains. They've been taking their feces in buckets and dumping it at the back of their property and then across the street at another person's property. They've been dumping it on their property, too. They have been dumping poop in their yard and the neighbors for about 3 years.
Come on.
She said at one point her neighbors had a hollowed-out porta-potty, and they were just letting it wash down into the ditches. The woman claims she is not the only one dealing with the fecal matter on her property. She noted the smell is almost unbearable at times. Oh, God, she exclaimed. When the wind blows, it's awful. You cannot even sit outside. You cannot even sit in the back room back there with the door open because the smell consumes the house.
And Arkansas is real humid on top of that.
She said she and her parents have lived in the same home for 32 years, claimed the fecal matter has been ending up in their yard for the past 3. And she said she's been worried about her family health. 3 years. Dumping poop in buckets out in the yard across the street at the neighbors. Gross. More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com.
Start summer with a $500 Visa gift card. NC Machinery is offering big rewards on small excavators. Grab a Cat Mini excavator and demolish jobs. Dig deep or move material with the smallest line of Cat products. Do more with less. That's right, small is big right now. Big rewards and big savings for your pocket. For a limited time, NC Machinery is offering a $500 Visa gift card, as well as financing of 0% for 36 months for qualified buyers. Now is the time to reward yourself. Terms and conditions apply while supplies last.
99.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Delicious meats and cheeses. Those are your categories, and your guess is as good as mine coming up after emails on our random question. 206-803-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Corey. Welcome to the men's room.
How about those Kraken?
Hell yeah. How about those Kraken?
Corey, how are you?
Doing all right. How you guys doing today?
That was a great game last night. That was a nail biter. I mean, up until the very last, few seconds.
Sure, man.
Just did not know.
Trying to explain to myself, why do they pull their goalie? I said it's called desperation. Mm-hmm. Winning teams don't do that.
How many shots do you bang off the post in one game?
My God, man.
4 or 5 at least. Like ding,
How about
ding,
having
ding.
that right after that Bruins-Panthers game?
Yeah, Bruins are not happy. Well, they were up 3-1.
That's why you're not happy.
Not happy.
That was a collapse.
Yeah, that is defined as a collapse if you're up 3-1 and lose a best of 7.
And they were that good all year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the judge telling that security guy in the courthouse TV show, you are not happy.
Right.
All right, let's go with this one. What famous person have you met in your lifetime, and how would you say that experience was?
I'm from the middle of nowhere in between Buffalo and Rochester. I haven't met anyone famous.
You're not kidding. That is literally the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's just nothing to do. But
You've never gone to a Dick's Sporting Goods and got a signature from, a famous Buffalo Bill from back in the day, a Bruce Smith or Darryl Talley or anything?
Haven't met any of those fellas. If you want to call it famous, I guess the one fellow that used to play for Hollywood Undead that got kicked out there, Deuce. That's about it.
All right. Well, you're saying, are they from his hometown, though, right?
No.
Just
you met famous people.
Yeah, just anybody.
Right. Who would you want to meet if you could?
Probably Josh Allen.
Josh Allen?
Yeah, that's a good call.
Does he seem like a cool guy? I mean, we don't get a lot of
He
bills.
seems like someone who could pound a beer.
All right.
He seems awesome.
He
Miles,
does.
you would love him.
Well, I saw Kenny Pickett shotgunning beers on stage at Luke Combs.
Yeah, but Kenny Pickett also sucks.
Oh, wow. Wow. He's
Josh
only
Allen.
in 1 year, dude. He only got 1 year.
And he was ready to go. I'm just saying, Josh Allen is that, to me, he's in that top tier of quarterback.
Oh, he is.
Right?
Yeah.
But also, he seems like a guy that has a good time. He got invited down to the Masters a few years ago. And I saw an interview with him. He's like, as long as they invite me, I will come.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'm sure Kenny Pickett's fine, dude.
Are you excited
but
to
Josh Allen just comes off as being awesome.
Are you excited to watch Aaron Rodgers twice a year?
No.
No?
Dude, he's not going to help the
down.
Jets. I wouldn't even sweat it.
You sure?
I'm not sure. To me, I'll put it this way. Who did they take? Green Bay. I think Green Bay got the better deal in this. Okay, yeah, sure. Take them out.
All right.
Sure, but we also have to deal with Tagovailoa there. I don't want to deal with that.
Tagovailoa? It depends, man. If he keeps getting all these concussions,
But when you're lonely,
playing,
lonely, pull off a Tagovailoa.
Yeah, Tagovailoa.
Other than the radio stuff, which we've been lucky enough to interview people, but there are other instances where you meet someone outside of that world, and you did in Kitchens, Gene Hackman.
Right,
Barbara Streisand,
I didn't really meet them as much as they were there. So Brad Pitt, I met directly. We had some words. He did kind of smile, and
what?
This was early in his career. They were filming a movie in Baltimore. I cannot remember the name of the movie. He was in it, I believe, with Winona Ryder. But where this particular restaurant was, there's this stunningly gorgeous part of downtown Baltimore, believe it or not, called Mount Vernon, and a lot of movies will film there because it kind of recreates 18th century France. I mean, that's kind of the architecture, all that kind of thing, but obviously it's cheaper to film in Baltimore than France. Whatever. So they're filming their scenes there, and they're there for a couple of weeks. And during their lunch breaks, they would do massive orders from us. And he was in one day. And like I said, he wasn't the Brad Pitt we know him to be now, but I knew who he was. No big deal, but we're making the food, open kitchen, and he had ordered some kind of sandwich, whatever. And he just came up and pulled hey, man, how much longer is it going to be to get the sandwich? And he wasn't really being douchey about it. He asked a reasonable question. And I was pointing to the ticket machine, and that thing's spinning like a cat on toilet paper, right? And I'm like, bro, I will get to it when I get to it, man. But we just do them in order. That's basically it. But we're just super busy, but it's coming up. So under his breath, he kind of does do you know who I am? And my exact response to him was, I do. And in spite of that, I'm still going to do it in the time that it came in. So he's kind of smiled at me. It was all good. That was the extent of our exchange, and he went on his merry way and ate his goddamn sandwich. Barbara Streisand, I want to punch her in the face because she was just being a bitch to be a bitch. I'm working at Commander's Palace in New Orleans. We knew she'd been there. Her and her entourage ate well, and then they got dessert at the end, and it was just this stupid little thing. One of the things we did to decorate the plate was white and dark chocolate, and they were like, hey, Babs has requested that you don't put the white chocolate on there because she's allergic to it. Was the thing. And I was like, no.
Chocolate's chocolate.
I was like, she's being a bitch to be a bitch. Whatever. I can't explain how much it irritated us just because we were so busy at this restaurant. If you know anything about Commander's Palace in New Orleans, it's one of their upper crust restaurant, and people who have Barbara Streisand kind of money go there. I mean, but you're still doing 750 tickets for lunch. Oh, that is an enormous number of plates to put out during lunch. They're only open for 3 hours. That said, that's kind of their average.
Yeah.
So when you go in there and cut, now Gene Hackman, on the other hand, he came up with this young Asian broad. That's the one thing anyone could talk about. He's got a dime on his shoulder. I said, well, he's Gene frickin' Hackman. Yeah. So the big thing with Gene Hackman was we learned his middle name because the way Gene rolled in was he handed his American Express to the waiter first and just said, I'm good for it, which made everyone chuckle and just said, I don't need the bill, just we're going to order what we order, ring it up, I'll sign it, we're done, right? So the waiter had his credit card. He brings it in the back, and its name is Gene Allen Hackman. And I don't know why that brought us so much. So we know his middle name. He probably would have told us if we just asked. But
didn't John Travolta come in one time and say, in an Italian restaurant, no garlic?
What?
Not
or
with me.
somebody. I've heard that one before.
Garlic. That'd be tough.
Yeah, no garlic.
Italian restaurant.
No garlic.
Yeah, that was not. I know. I don't. As far as I know, I never. never served.
We were doing the
that.
show, but we were at a Halloween party one night in a bar, and Stacy Keebler's in there, and she's dressed as a cop. Except for she's got like a leather skirt on.
Right. The
By the way, she's dressed as a sexy cop.
Right. Yes, and she's already a tall person, so like
she's like 6 foot. Or
the idea of wearing heels, like she was like Stacy Keebler, but then you only knew her from the WWE.
Yes.
So I was like, hey, man. I said, we just had Macho Man on, whatever the deal. I was like, would you please come on our show? And she's like, what's the name of the show? And I told her the show on the radio station. She's like, maybe. And I was like, come on, man. And she's like, okay, I'll do it, just so I would leave. I was like, sweet, man. We'll be in touch.
Of course, you're not going to be in touch.
Right. Well, I figured Eric would jump on it.
Right.
He's like, I don't know how to get hold of her.
That's a good point.
It's one of those things. But, man, she was
Who
fun.
was she dating at the time? Was she dating an Oriole or something? Like, I know she's from Baltimore, but it seemed like
she was dating somebody big at the time. I can't remember.
That was before, right? Because she dated, what? Was it Clooney for a little bit?
She did date George Clooney for a minute.
That was after Oz.
That was kind of his.
Yeah, he was still
MO.
his shtick.
Right. He was like 2 or 3 years, then he's done. I'm trying to think. I'll tell you. You know what? As a kid, and this will sound silly, but you know, like my mom worked in D.C. and I remember we went out for lunch. I don't know if it was like take your kid to work day or whatever. And I'll never forget. We walked by Ted Koppel. And it just
I saw Ted Koppel.
Took my breath away.
Sam Donaldson, too.
Yeah, you're just like, there's Ted Koppel.
I saw a guy, this is as an adult, man. We were in Mazatlan probably like 5 years ago. And there's not a lot of people in the boardwalk this time of the morning. And I put this more on my wife because she actually watched this show, okay? So we are walking, and then there's a guy about my age walking with clearly his mom the other direction. And we kind of make eye contact. And you know when you're like, man, I know this person. I don't realize that I know him from a TV show. I'm just like, hey, man, do you live in Seattle? He's like, nah. And I'm like, bro, I swear to God, I have seen you somewhere before. Looking back, he kind of smiled. He's like, yeah, I get that a lot, man. Maybe I just have that face. I'm like, no, dude, I'm telling you, like, there's something. And even my wife's like, where do we know him from? So we're throwing out everywhere we've lived, everywhere we've been. And he's like, no. And then even his mom chimes in. He goes, well, where do you think you know him from? I said, look, man, I don't know, because if I'm not at work, I'm at the bar. And if I'm not at the bar at work, I'm probably home. That's it. So either you broke into my house, I met you at a bar, or I worked with you or something. Couldn't figure it out, so he saunters off with his mom. About 2 hours later, my wife and I look at each other, and can't think of his name now. There was a show called Castle. He was not the main character. Okay. But he was one of the characters on Castle. She watched it. And then he was on that show, We Be This, or This Is Us. He was like the stepfather that came out. I don't know, my wife used to bawl at that show every week. And I'm like, that's the guy. Yep. He's done very well for himself. And I'm like, I cannot believe we could not piece together, hey, man, we know you're from TV. I swore I knew the guy.
I was flying as soon as we got here. I'm doing like TripAdvisor or Expedia or whatever. But I had to fly into Pittsburgh. And the day that I had to fly into Pittsburgh, for whatever reason, I got a flight to Chicago, flight to Pittsburgh. No big deal. All right. But on the way back, it was Pittsburgh to Covington, which was not a long flight, like a half an hour. Then Covington to Chicago.
Kentucky.
Yeah, which is Cincinnati. Right. And then into Seattle. So it's a Sunday, I'm flying out. I saw my family, saw my brother and sister and stuff. Get into Covington in the airport, and I see the Chick-fil-A sign. And I'm like, yes, Chick-fil-A. Because they were few and far between. Sure. Especially out here in Seattle, we didn't have them. They didn't have it in West Virginia when I was growing up. Now they have like 4 of them. Mm. But at the time, they hadn't really expanded like that. But we all knew the legend of Chick-fil-A.
Correct.
I just never had it before. So I'm fired up, man. So I get off the airplane. I walk over to the food court section. I realize that there is a giant gate over. And at this point, I also don't know why or the deal on why they're closed on Sunday.
Oh, right.
So I just walk up there and I look up, I'm like, God damn it, what the hell's going on here? Why are they closed? And another guy walks up and he stands, he looks at the light, he's like, they're closed. I'm like, they're closed. I look, I'm like, you're Mean Gene Okerlund. He's like, yes, I am. He's like, wow, you're the man. And you're like, I've been watching you my whole life. You're the greatest. Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really wish Chick-fil-A was open. I'm like, me too.
I've heard most of the wrestlers are cool.
Yeah.
Airports are the weirdest ones.
Yes. But yeah, you can bump into anybody.
Correct.
Right. You don't expect to, but you can't. Who do we work with that sat next to Robert Plant? Just the way it shook out on the flight. Was it Jolene?
It was Jolene.
Right. She's like, it wasn't my plan. I did not know he's on the flight. But basically, they seat me next to this old man who's reading a book or something. She glances over and she's like, oh my God. She's like, you can't play it cool. You know, as you're thinking it, you're singing it. You're Robert Plant. Yes, I am, dear. Something. I mean, I'm like, Robert Plant. She goes, it was Robert frickin' Plant.
Well, you heard Robin tell the story of her meeting him at wherever he played. I don't know if he played Marymore. It was either Chateau or Marymore, whatever. But I guess they got to do a meet and greet with the radio station. And, like, he came out and, like, said this whimsical thing. Right. Like, you know, all the trees in the world and blah, blah, blah. And, like, poof, he just vanished and he was gone. It's like all of a sudden it was like this poof of smoke and Robert Plant was gone, like this mystical creature.
Honestly, this time last year when I made my trip out to Cleveland, I remember the next morning on Sunday I was getting into the airport to take like the first plane back out to Seattle, right? And it is like 6:30 in the morning when I walk through there, and then I'm going to find coffee because I know that there's a Dunkin' Donuts in the Cleveland airport, so I'm going to go find it, right? So as I'm walking, I see this old dude walking towards me. He's kind of a rough look, leathery, white-haired dude, and I'm looking at him and he looks strikingly familiar. I know who this guy is. It was like, is he one of the car dealers from the auction? Like, who is this guy? I get about, and I stare at him, and we kind of lock eyes for a second. Like, it's clear I'm looking at him with the eyes of, I know who this is. I get about 10 paces back, and I go, was that doggone Ron Perlman? And I turn around, it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you took a picture and sent it to us.
I did. I took a creepy picture from around the corner. Like, it's weird at this point. I can't go say hi. But I'm going to just take a picture of it.
Here is, I was going to say, and that's not that uncommon, too. Mm-hmm. Like, for some reason, if you're at a sporting event or a concert,
sure,
even in a restaurant, you're not shocked, right? Like, I was in the same restaurant once the AC/DC was in there eating. Now, the only reason I knew was because my buddy's wife worked for that restaurant group and stuff, and she was like, yeah, they're in the other room. Also, apparently, very good tippers. Very nice.
I've heard that.
But you know what I mean? Again, it's like a restaurant. But yeah, the airport is like the Wild West. You just don't know who you're going to see.
Reason why, if you ever met somebody famous, we got a couple instances here. Jack White seemed flattered and grateful when I told him how much I enjoyed the White Stripes show. It was just before they took off and got really famous. He was extremely nice. They were opening for the Beastie Boys. Mike D refused to sign an autograph and told me he'd been signing his effing name all day. He was a jerk, but it was kind of funny. Keith Urban. After the show, they had fans line up along a metal railing. He came by to say hi. He stopped to talk to each person, doing a quick selfie with everyone. But when he got to me, he skipped me and went to the next person. I thought he just missed me in the chaos of it all, so I went further down the railing, waited again. And again, he took a selfie with each person, then got to me, and skipped me again. My wife was watching from a distance and pointed out that I was the only guy in line, and she saw another guy waiting after me. But Urban skipped him, too. So apparently he only likes female
so he takes selfie with chicks, but not with dudes.
That's where he's coming from.
Flav, genuinely a very nice guy. I was with my grandparents, was so excited because I'd watched The Flavor of Love, and apparently he was in the Philadelphia airport and a good guy. Here's one we know, Ozzy Osbourne. Really funny. Working security at Ozfest. His head of security had asked me to hang out as we were on a break. He told me not to let anyone into the dressing room. So I stood there, all 6'1", 230 pounds of me. A few minutes later, go by, and Ozzy gets ready to go on stage. He opened his dressing room door, didn't expect to see me, and got scared. And ticked off that he got scared, he mumbled, "I'm in the prime of my effing darkness," and shuffled off.
Oh, my God.
Dan Aykroyd, who we had on the show, too, restaurant manager,
He's
French
a unique
Quarter,
guy.
New Orleans in the early 90s. Located just around the corner from the site where the first House of Blues was being built. Aykroyd, a partner in that. He popped in for some wings, graciously took a photo with the staff, pointed to the table next to his and said, "Comp their meal. They're friends of mine, too."
Oh, cool.
Of course, he was full of crap, but I did it anyway. Great experience.
I was going to say, you hear stuff about Aykroyd, who's a bit strange.
He's strange.
But the interactions seem okay. They played opposite as Chevy Chase. People are like, you don't want to meet him.
Everyone, 100% of people that talk about him say he's horrible.
Benedict Cumberbatch gave me the biggest hug, and when I'd waited that long to see him, he said, "God, I'm not worth waiting for that long." Incredibly sweet. He's an excellent hugger.
Yay.
As well. Another woman drank with Usher all night at the bar. Didn't realize it was him until she started posting up pictures. The next day, our friends were like, "You were drinking beside Usher."
And she had no idea?
She had no idea. She was just sitting beside him and taking pictures with her and her friends.
Probably why she had to get time.
People were zooming in, and he was in town, and that was his bar, I guess. And either way, she found out the next day, oh, yeah, there's a bunch of people in there.
But couldn't you have had sex with Tony Braxton?
No, but I tried.
You said that. Wait a minute, you told us that for years.
I thought I had a pretty good shot.
But you didn't know it was her.
Dude, it was 10, 15-minute conversation, one-on-one, and it was her night.
But you had no idea that it was her.
No, not until she got up, got her award. It was the WAMO Awards, Washington Area Music Association. I'm just sitting there getting S-face because it's free drinks. Right. She's in like a nice dress. I'm like, dude, you look great. She's like, oh, thank you. And turned around, stood at the bar, and got a couple drinks. Like, why are you here? I'm like, I work at a radio station. She's like, oh. I'm like, why are you here? She's like, the award ceremony. I'm like, cool. You want a shot? And she's like, yeah, I'll do a shot. So did a shot. Sat there, kept on talking. She kept on asking me questions. I was asking, like, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm from D.C. I'm like, no kidding. Blah, blah, blah. It's just, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Sometimes, like, there's nobody around. No handlers.
Right.
No one's coming up to get her to sit back down. We're just standing up there talking. I don't know if she was bored at her table. And then when I watched her walk up to the table, her table was like right in the front. She had like the very first.
So you're thinking, oh, she's pretty cool.
Well, she got like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right.
I didn't know that. And then I knew the name of her.
Sure.
I knew her name.
Was the bar in the same room?
Yes. It was just a stand up like a hotel conference room.
All right.
It had like a bar in the corner. So like those people in line. But we just shuffled over. Started talking. Like, she didn't have a husband. There was no boyfriend behind her. That's why I was like, when she sat down, it was like this old dude who was her manager and some other hot chick. And I'm like, all right, maybe I got a chance. And then when they announced her and she got up, I was like, oh, I don't have a chance. It's like, I didn't realize that. Because it was like, they like the Nighthawks got an award that night. That's kind of one of the reasons I was there.
All right.
Mark Weiner and those guys. It's like I was there on behalf of another band that was getting inducted.
I sat like 2 bar stools down from Eddie Vedder once.
Mm-hmm. Did you know it?
Yeah.
Same thing. I did not know it till he got up to leave, and I was there. I think I might have been with a woman, and we were like having fun and stuff. And I kind of knew one of the bartenders, and he's like, "Yeah, that like, and it's not crowded." He's like, "That's what that guy's drinking." I'm like, "They're any good?" He's like, "Yeah, it's good." And I was like, "Maybe I'll get one."
Thank you.
And
Eddie
I'm like
Vedder.
BSing like I do normally. I think I was annoying.
Probably.
You know what I mean? But he seemed very nice and like kind of waiting for me to be like, are you Eddie Vedder? I was just like, all right, see you, dude. And then as he walked out, the bartender's like, you've been talking to Eddie Vedder for like 10 minutes. I was like, son of a bitch.
See you, dude.
See you, dude.
See you, dude.
I'm on a date. Don't be jealous. Yeah.
See if you can get a date, Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, she's got a nice rack, doesn't she, Ed?
Your guess is as good as mine. Cover the categories: delicious meats and cheeses. You are listening to the Men's Room.
Hey y'all, it's Garth, the Big 615. You're going to hear the newest that country music has to offer. At the same time, you're going to hear the newest that the country classics have to offer. I want to hear the new single from George Strait, and I want to hear it right beside the new single from Luke Combs. That's the thing we call the Big 615.
Download the free TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. Or ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Your guess as good as mine. Cut up our categories: delicious meats and cheeses. But first, time for a few emails from the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got
As far as concerts, the one that you're glad to see, the ones that you're kind of ticked off that you missed, brothers. Concerts I'm glad to see: David Bowie, Jethro Tull, Roger Waters, and Rush. As artists get older, you need to see them.
I've seen none of them.
That from Pangea Joe. I did do that with Paul McCartney, just because I figured that'd be the last time around. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. I saw Rush. The meet and greet was interesting. The show was
Didn't you like Geddy Lee? And Geddy Lee doesn't make bones about it. He does not want to meet you.
David Bowie was great. I saw him basically do all of his hits.
Okay.
He just came out and played and was just like, man, that's hit after hit. As far as who you met, guys, I met Suicidal Tendencies at a strip club in Germany. Best part, it was a heavy metal strip club.
Oh, nice.
That from Batman. That was my favorite logo, one of them, growing up.
Suicidal Tendencies?
Yeah.
Underrated band, by the way. If you don't know them, check them out. You'll dig them. Good band.
Who I met. Guys, I was
I've never
doing...
met anybody in a strip club. I have met celebrities at after parties before.
Sure.
Where it was a little... How should I phrase this? Like, they were like, I am not here. I was like, no worries, man. Mm-hmm. What do you care? You're not starting this week.
Right.
Oh. Well, I will not say who this particular individual was, but we had an interview with the guy years and years and years ago. We're still in Baltimore. And look, I understand maybe you don't want to do an interview, but then tell your handlers you don't feel like doing interviews. Anyway, came in to do the interview. Clearly did not want to speak. Everything's yes, no. And he wouldn't even look at us. Just folded his arms. So we go to break. I said, hey, man, I met you in Costa Rica once. Like, did we? And I said, yeah, the thing I remember most is watching you beat a hooker with chains in the pool room. You know, we could bring that up if you want to talk about that. So then we come back from break, and he was so chatty. But we never talked about that.
No.
It's like, yeah, I was there. No. The only way I know that is because I was there.
Well, we did get invited to a party at a Hustler opening with Larry Flint and
that was
Ron Jeremy and
Dennis
Hoff.
That's how we met Dennis. Ron Jeremy, in spite of what we have learned since then, was one of the nicer guys we met. And Larry Flint, everything, he did not care if you're there. Didn't he make you get him a drink? Like, give me a drink.
Here's his thing. He had two things. First of all, Ron Jeremy does not drink.
Correct.
Okay, but Ron Jeremy eats, and he naps all the time. So when Larry Flint came up to me and asked me if I could go get him a drink, I was like, because I was on my way up, I was like, does anyone need anything? And Larry's like, I'll take a gin and tonic. I was like, all right. And he goes, also, because it was the buffet was on basically the bar.
Yeah.
And he goes, tell Ron to quit eating all my shrimp. I'm like, I'm not going to go tell Ron Jeremy to stop eating your shrimp, Larry, but I'll get you a drink. Who I met. Guys, I was doing some remodeling at a client's house in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The person I was working for was in realty. He answered the door and brought the person in. I looked up and there was a king cool guy looking like Donnie Iris. I was like, holy crap. Turns out he was into realty. P.S. Had a great time at the Muck. Love you guys. Take care, Yins. That from Mike, a.k.a. Yorty. Donnie Iris was huge in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He did Aaliyah. Do you remember that song? You wouldn't know it if you heard it.
All right.
Yeah, Donnie Iris, Aaliyah. He had like 2 hits.
Can you sing it for us?
Not right now. I can't sing anything. I can barely speak.
We don't have any Donnie Iris.
We don't have any Donnie Iris?
I don't think so.
How do we even do the 80s show?
I didn't know who.
I didn't get out that Aaliyah. A-H-L-E-A-H. Aaliyah.
Does he go by Donnie?
4 minutes.
Saying that?
4 minutes.
No, it is Donnie
seconds
Iris.
long.
For real, he does go by Donnie Iris.
Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, all right. Yeah, no Donnie Iris.
Huh. But I don't know what I expected. It wasn't that dude.
No. Moving on to the birthday shout-outs.
I don't know why. I saw the last name with the way I read stuff. I read it as one of the Isley brothers.
Oh, okay.
So I was expecting an older black dude, not this white dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have to say it's so disappointing. Not this white dude.
It's a white guy.
God,
damn you, Bobby Caldwell.
Bobby Caldwell was cool.
I know, but people were shocked to find out he was white.
I know.
You ever seen the videos where people are watching him like, oh my God, he's a white guy?
Well, he's just
I didn't know that either until I saw the video.
It.
Right.
It sounds like Bill Withers or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like that song was played on R&B stations forever.
It's like Taylor Dane sneaking in to Motown.
She's hot too.
Patrols, can you please give a 20th birthday shout out to my baby boy Jake? How about a fish sandwich and the captain telling him what to expect in his 20s? Thanks, guys, for the daily laughs and entertainment. You rock. That from Danielle.
$2 get a fish sandwich.
Ooh, well, ahoy there. Breaking into the 20s, are you? Well, it's been, as the kids say, a hot minute since the captain entered his 20s, but I remember it well. And if you live your life like I did, what you can expect is chlamydia and lots of it. Crunch bag.
Let's get a contestant online for your guess. Is as good as mine now at 206-803-ROCK. More from the birthday emails. Hola, guys. Today is my birthday, and unfortunately, I'm already having a craptastic day.
Yay!
So can I please have the dirty Germans put a much-needed smile on my face while I'm up at Alki? Thanks, guys. That from the lovely Lizzie.
Yeah, Lizzie, since you bring up craptastic, just know when the dirty Germans come visit you to also be craptastic.
Yeah, it's also so it'll cost you extra money. It's Yahtzee at Alki Beach. You should enjoy the day. Maybe go for a swim. Oh, no, just kidding. It's early May.
Damn. Hello, guys. This marks the glorious birth of my boyfriend, Eddie, also known as Swiss Hottie and TP Nazi, depending on the day. Love of my life, makes me laugh with his 13-year-old boy sense of humor. I've sent in a wish before. You guys were awesome. We had a lot of laughs. Sarcasm is his thing. Last time you guys did the birthday request, I was hoping you would do the improv thing you did with the Dirty Russians. Or maybe mix it up with some fancy Russians. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. That from Melissa.
Yes, tonight, Eddie, you have sex with potato.
It's in Moscow, Russia. Potato have sex with you.
Yes, instead of you being Moscow Mule, we call you Moscow Ass.
Let's just keep an eye out for the other mule.
What else?
I don't think I have a Russian accent.
Mike, you do a pretty good Russian accent.
A little bit.
You keep it low. You don't really project it that much.
How would you tell Eddie to enjoy his birthday, his fancy Russian?
You go out and you find yourself good woman and you take her back and then you don't tell anybody what you done.
That's really close to your Ringo Starr.
It's kind of the same tone, you know. We really in the same circles.
Like, I have a buddy. He came to a Halloween party with me, and he was supposed to be a Russian gangster, but he can do kind of Mike's accent, but just enough. So then the person hosting the party went up to him and was like, thanks for coming. I know Ted invited you, but you're supposed to be a costume. We had to be like, no, I'm Ted's buddy Troy. I'm not This is the costume.
Say hello to my little friend.
Guys, Matt from Puyallup, Washington, longtime listener. Today's my 41st revolution. Another day, another dollar. How about the Dirty Germans talking about the Seahawks draft?
Yeah, it was a very good draft for the Seahawks. Not everyone was so happy with that first pick, but I'll tell you, you got yourself a stud. And the way I know he's a stud is because I visited him in his younger days.
Yeah, you know, it's over here in Germany, we like to grade things, and according to most of the internet, your Seahawks had a great day.
Yeah.
They did really good.
They did great.
You should be happy.
So did the Eagles.
Yeah.
So did the Ravens. Yeah. Overall, I don't really think that anyone was bitching about their draft so much.
No.
It's one of the first years, you're right, man. Usually there's like 2 or 3 teams who are like, what do you guys do?
I think the Titans melted down a little bit because they only took offensive players, but everybody else seemed happy.
Well, it just seems odd to take a quarterback when you just took Malik Willis last year.
Yeah. Well, they're done with it, apparently.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. Some of these draft picks, a couple of those quarterbacks won't pan out.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'll guarantee it.
Guys, today's my wife's birthday. Please wish Uni a happy birthday with a little kid fish sandwich and the Dirty Germans discussing her spicy kimchi and hot cooking. That from her loving husband, Matt.
Fish challenge!
Yeah, first of all, I like your name, Uni. That sounds like a sex move that I do with one finger. Yeah, I give you the Uni.
Uni.
Uni, yeah, I like the unicycle.
See, I think it's funny. It's your wife. So she's Korean with this kimchi. But, you know, we're pretty famous for our sauerkraut ourselves.
Yeah. Tonight, we will compare cabbage.
It's both stinky.
You know, honestly, this is a great American. I believe his name is Ted Smith. He says that kimchi is just sauerkraut.
Yeah.
It basically is.
I know.
Is there a woman out there
It's like
named
stinky tofu.
Kimchi?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be.
And she hates life. You know there is.
I will say sauerkraut I enjoy cold. Kimchi I like sometimes prefer like heated up in a dish.
I wonder why that is, because you're right. I'm right there with you. I like both.
There's a kimchi.
There's actually a public figure on Facebook named Kim Chi, a 7-foot-tall live-action anime character. And
that's an anime character.
172,000 followers.
All right.
Is that a man or a woman?
It looks like a woman, Ted.
Okay. All of men's room, I want to wish my brother Sean a happy 50th birthday. Can I get Miles to give him an inspirational quote? On turning 50, a bong rip, and the Dirty Germans talking about his birthday celebration in Vegas this week. Thanks for all the laughs, guys. That from Mike. All right, Sean. I remember when I was growing up, and we used to laugh and laugh and laugh at Grandpa when he'd head off and go fishing. But we wouldn't be laughing that evening when he'd come back home with some whore he picked up in town.
Yeah, if you're going to go down to Vegas, do not worry about the slot machines, you worry about the slut machines. And also make it a point to get a good meal while eating in the Big V.
Yeah, so the good part is in Vegas now you can actually still do some bong rips. You can turn 50. Also, it's Vegas. Make sure you tell everybody it's your 50th birthday. As drunk idiots like me will buy you shots.
Yeah, when you say you want to see the Vegas Strip, expect ladies
even
to pull down their
bartender.
pants.
Even the bartender.
Yeah. Don't forget to see the thunder down under.
And aloha, naked ladies. Mason here, sending a birthday request for my bro Peter Dyer Maker, or Mucker. on his 56th birthday, 52nd birthday. Jesus Christ. A big aloha for all you do making radio world entertaining. Please give a beaver fart, an OG fish sandwich, and a oh my God, what the F is that, bro? Thanks, bitches. That from Mason.
Oh my God, what the is that, bro?
All right, guys, here we go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Mama. Time for a little Your Guess is as good as mine. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Finally. Yes, you have one of two categories to pick from. Get as many right in said category before 3 strikes and you're out. Steve, who's ready to play? Your guess is as good as mine.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. Matthew, welcome to the program. 2 categories. We're going meats and cheeses. We have the 10 best cheeses, the top 10 best meats. That's it. Meats include everything from fowl, crustaceans, fish, and 4-legged meats.
Does that include people?
Cheeses are cheeses. So, Matt, what do you want to do? You want to go meat or cheese?
Well, I hate to say this, but I know more about meat than I do cheese.
All right, Matthew.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, now the game is played. Get as many right
federal prison
out of the 10 in said category before 3 strikes and you're out. What's your first guess on the top 10 meats of all time?
Beef.
Beef. Number 2. Beef, it's what's for dinner. I don't believe I said that.
Pork?
Pork is number 3. I like how you're doing this.
Now we're going to do chicken, obviously.
Chicken, number 1. You got the top 3.
Okay.
It's crazy the chicken's number 1, because to me, chicken's like the tofu of meat. It doesn't taste like anything. Right, but it tastes like whatever you put with it.
It's the reverse. Everything tastes like chicken.
And is this worldwide or just the States?
It is the top 10 meats.
Well, I was just going to say, also, chicken's the one that shows up through all cultures.
Everywhere, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Unlike peanut butter.
Now, with chicken, are we talking all poultry?
No, chicken's a chicken.
Okay, so how about turkey?
Turkey, number 4. You got the top 4, Matthew. Nice work. No strikes.
All right. We got, I don't want to go exotic yet, I don't think.
I mean, think seafood. You got shrimp, you got tuna.
Seafood, yeah, I was going to go just straight fish.
Well, you have to pick out a specific type of fish in this instance.
Tuna.
Oh,
yeah, I would think tuna.
Salmon. Yeah, tuna was going to be when he said that, tuna.
Tuna's number 16. 16 on the list.
Oh, so that misses.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
Ooh,
1 strike.
Damn, my bad, dude. I thought tuna for sure.
Down.
I'd go salmon on that one.
Oh, okay.
Cod.
Well, let me get back to the
These are the top 10 meats.
Right.
Meats.
Does fish not count?
It does. Just don't forget everything else.
Well, I thought tuna would be more than cod, so I'll go salmon. I mean, tuna's salmon.
Maybe we shouldn't go fish. Maybe I think Miles is giving us a hint here.
No, we should definitely go underwater for a lot of these.
So maybe not fish. Maybe we should say crabs.
Yeah.
Shrimp.
Okay, well, let's go crab then, start off with.
Number 8.
All right.
So far, you're right with crab, turkey, pork, beef, and chicken. These are the top 10 meats of all time.
I mean, does oysters count?
Yeah.
Clams?
You know, I want to say venison, though. What do you think about the venison?
No.
We don't know if this is the U.S. or the world. If ever the U.S., that's still a little shaky.
I would say shrimp.
And yeah, there's not a whole lot of people that rave about venison.
Ted.
Shrimp?
But more people should eat tuna than shrimp. Shrimp's $5. I'll go shrimp.
Number 5. You do realize shrimp is the number 1 selling seafood in the world.
Right.
All right. Oh, in the world. So this is worldwide.
Well, I'm just telling you, shrimp is the number 1 selling seafood in the world. I don't know the origin of the list.
Popular by popular by taste or popular by sales?
We're assuming it's
Matthew, will you suck it and just guess? I don't know all these questions.
You're right. All right.
Be the top 10 meats.
Up here? How many we got left?
You've got 6 out of 10. You're not doing bad. You got 1 strike. Go back to what you were thinking earlier. Don't let them talk you out of it.
What was that? That was salmon.
Salmon is number 9.
Oh, thank you. There you go.
Don't let them talk you out of the other thing you thought of that you said out loud.
Oh, I already forgot it. Oh, venison.
Number 10. Deer above duck.
I can't believe that.
I like venison.
I like venison too. I don't think it's very gamey at all.
All right, so far you've got deer.
The meat. You got to take care of the meat, Ted.
Deer, salmon, crab, shrimp, turkey, pork, beef, and chicken. There are two.
Okay.
There are two meats remaining, Matthew. Here's the clue. One is a land animal. One is a sea-dwelling creature.
I got it. It's my favorite. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Lamb.
Lamb is number 7.
Hell yeah.
Good. Lamb is number 7.
Lamb.
All right, dude. You have 2 strikes remaining. There's one choice left.
Gator.
On the top 10 meats. It lives in the ocean.
We already get clams.
Clams not even in the top 20, unfortunately. I love clams.
Don't forget mermaids.
What do you guys think about lobster for crustacean?
That's not a bad call at all, in
It's
my
a
opinion.
strong call. People, I'm not a big fan of lobster, but people love lobster.
There's this restaurant named after it, for heaven's sake.
All right, let's go with the red lobster.
That is correct, brother. You swept it. Nice job, Matthew. You got 10 out of the 10. F yeah. Nice job. You know the top 10 meats in the world according to the survey.
Well, the people on the world.
The
World,
people,
U.S.
People that went to this website and voted on the top
Based
10
on
meats.
taste, based on sales.
All the
But there were no clams?
Clams, not a thing. Believe it or not, 11 was duck.
All right.
12 is goat.
Wow, that far back.
13 is rabbit. 14 scallops. 15 is a goose. 16 tuna. 17 oyster. 18 in the world, it must be because it's horse. Tilapia comes in at 19.
All right.
And buffalo at 20.
Okay.
As far as the
Love a
meats
bison
there.
burger.
Got a drink and toast with the shot of the day. You are listening to The Men's Room.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com.
Start summer with a $500 Visa gift card. NC Machinery is offering big rewards on small excavators. Grab a Cat Mini excavator and demolish jobs. Dig deep or move material with the smallest line of Cat products. Do more with less. That's right, small is big right now. Big rewards and big savings for your pocket. For a limited time, NC Machinery is offering a $500 Visa gift card, as well as financing of 0% for 36 months for qualified buyers. Now is the time to reward yourself. Terms and conditions apply while supplies last.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up next, we'll drink a toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check on Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, there's a company that has developed a 3D bioprinted fish fillet. Okay, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, look, if it's good, I don't care.
I don't.
But it does not sound
Well, I always
good.
think of a K-Rab.
Right.
Which is not the right litmus test for anything.
What is that, though?
It's artificial crab meat.
It is
but
artificial
it's just,
crab.
No, it's just other fish smashed together,
Yeah.
and then they add something that makes it glow in the dark.
There-
And that's
one
where people-
specific fish. Like,
is it pollock or something like
Yeah,
that?
Something in
like something
it's
that you
not
wouldn't
pollock.
eat.
You've
It's not pollock.
not heard of it. I want to say they catch it by the thousands, if not millions, of pounds in Japan.
And just figure out something to do with it. Make the artificial
Do they
crab meat.
basically just turn it into like ground beef fish and then shape it to be the way that it is?
More or less.
Yes.
You know, but look, man, how many things do we eat that if you really knew, you wouldn't? So saying 3D
But that's
printed
organic.
fish.
It's an organic material as opposed to 3D printed, which freaks me out for whatever reason.
But I will say this, when you talk about K-Rab too, right? Like most people are like imitation crab meat, no, but like I don't know why you don't give it a second thought if you get a California roll.
Right.
Like they're using Dungeness in there.
I mean, we all in here love sausage. I mean, we went down to Uli's and we had a sausage. It's like, no, Uli's got some very, very good stuff that he uses.
But that's Uli's.
But we'll also go to doggone T-Mobile and get ourselves a hot dog too, which has got just a bunch
Hot dog's
of
different, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
So would you freak out if they said a 3D printed hot dog, or based on what we know hot dogs to be? Would you
wouldn't
be
know
like,
why.
would I even know why?
right.
Right.
I don't get why you would do it.
That's a good point.
Right? It's like it's already pulverized everything, smashed and compressed.
Pulverized everything.
Why are we?
What part of the pig? Everything.
Everything. Right. And I fathom that these are the parts that you don't want to know that you're eating, which is fine. It tastes good. It doesn't kill me. Okay,
No.
Cool.
They found a good way to present it.
Right.
To me, that's all it is, right? So people are like, I eat cow eyeball. Okay, my problem is just that it looks like an eyeball.
Right.
Or cow tongue, which apparently is very good. I have a personal problem getting over that. But if you ground it up and it tasted like a hot dog and then you told me, hey, man, it's made of eyeballs and tongue, don't care.
And our culture is ripe with things that were, they were bought on the cheap. They were bought plentiful.
Sure.
And then you found a way to make this nasty, cheap, disgusting thing look and taste good.
Cajun cooking.
Yes.
That is like 100%.
Brisket. Wasn't brisket like the cheap cut of meat for a while?
That's why it takes so long to cook.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oysters, lobsters, shrimp.
Right.
Ribs, wings.
Exactly.
Like, this is not stuff that you want.
Things with bones in it. Things with bones in it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Cleveland is giving away a trip to come see the solar eclipse next year.
To Cleveland?
Cleveland.
I mean, hey, why not?
Invite me back, guys.
You going back for the solar eclipse?
I hope so. Let's find out.
Is that the only place we could see it?
I think it might be a good place to see it. I don't know why.
Why Cleveland?
Maybe that's just the location that it's going to show the best.
Maybe.
All right.
Or maybe it's a way to get people to come to Cleveland.
That's what I'm thinking. I think Cleveland's just like, hey, why don't you watch it here, dude?
What do you got to lose?
Yeah.
Did you venture outside of your hotel at night while you were in Cleveland?
God, no. No, I didn't. Man, I felt skeezed out when I ventured out during the day.
Is that neighborhood that bad?
It's not that bad. It's one of those where you walk around and it's
I
like...
think you were psyched out of it.
A little bit.
But also you don't know where you are. And you don't... It's one thing if you tool around Washington State, there's a general vibe in Washington State where you can negotiate your way out. You're in Ohio.
Picture walking in Las Vegas off the strip.
Okay, right.
You know what I mean? It's run down. It's dingy. It's dirty. You don't want to be caught in a compromising position.
What other cities would you compare it to, Mike?
Thinking on it, Ted. Some parts of Tacoma.
You going hilltop?
Just keep moving.
South Tacoma.
Like go on down to Pioneer Square.
University Place.
But here's the difference, man. Just based on the fact that we live in Western Washington, you kind of understand mentally how the game is played.
Sure.
Right? But when you're you're in Ohio.
Right.
So there's some
Don't be stupid.
There's some subtext to Ohio that you're unaware of.
Right.
So whatever the right thing is to say to get out of an otherwise hairy situation, you don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Right? It changes everything, man.
You walk around here and you say, I don't think there's, a whole lot of very upstanding characters around here. Okay.
That's the thing. Like, I never sweat Baltimore. Baltimore's a very violent place, but I'm from there. There's not a place in Baltimore where I'm particularly worried. It's a place I don't want to go.
Right.
But if I find myself there, I'm not sweating it because there's a certain level of madness there that you understand. And that's true of any city. But if you were to put me in Philly, I understand the Philly way. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to.
The rules of engagement.
Right. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Like, you can puff your chest and do all that, and that's good for a minute. Yeah. But then it's like, do you understand the Philly way? It's like, I really don't. Right. You're about to kill me.
Like, I don't think that there were any bad people in that area.
Are you sure?
I honestly, I didn't see a whole lot of questionable characters out there.
Those are the ones that man. Get you.
It's just there was a lot of broken bottles. I was like,
there's evidence of bad characters, but the people
was there mid-range cars, or was there only like
it's all mid-range, low-range cars, buddy? I was near a hospital.
All right, well, I'm saying, like, you see, like, to me, if I see, like, mid-range cars, four-door sedans, I go, okay.
I heard a lot of cars coming by.
When it's only absolute garbage vehicles or super high-end, you go, what is up with this?
Bro, there was a lot of duct tape, zip ties, and squeaks.
But they gave you hell about that for New Jersey, so there's a big difference between Cleveland and New Jersey.
All right, moving on here. Research says aliens could contact the Earth by 2029. I don't know why.
They already have.
Right, it's like they could contact us tomorrow. Like, what research are you saying? Like, they could possibly talk to us in 5 years.
Why don't they get it when we want to?
Yeah, why don't they just call us?
For real. But we're ready. We're waiting for you.
But why does everyone think people want to talk to you? I think Neil deGrasse Tyson put it best. He goes, we share 99% of the same DNA as a chimpanzee. And he goes, have you tried to have a meaningful conversation with a chimpanzee?
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
Right.
But couldn't I teach them how to say yes and no? Like with a machine.
They've done with gorillas, or was it Coco? Coco the gorilla, I believe.
Yeah.
Was it Coco? I think it was Coco.
I just feel like in my heart, I'm not saying they want to, but if the aliens really want to talk to us, you just get a weird number and be like, hey, it's us, the aliens. Yeah, we're good.
I think this is the message we will get. the SETI Institute will get a message. It's just going to say, you up?
Hey.
You up?
Hey.
I sure am. Gonna get me some green tea tonight.
Might about slide through.
Y'all got any cows we can steal?
You think they sent us some emojis? I'm pretty sure an alien just sent me an eggplant. Yeah.
You want to get probed? Come on, man.
Alien, man, I don't care. Yeah, it's game on.
Can I just come over?
My finger's not the only thing that's long.
Are your parents home?
Damn. The first contact from an alien was for a hookup. Answer the call.
Oh, God. Car companies are bringing back buttons and knobs because apparently we're tired of touchscreens. Which, to be honest with you, I don't fully disagree with.
Well, I think it's less distracting if you know where it is. You can reach and do the thing.
I think that's more that. Touchscreens are cool.
Right, they were futuristic.
I mean, and it is cool, and it can be cool, but when you're, especially outside of the city. So in the city, you're never going fast enough for it to generally be a problem.
Sure.
But like having just been to New Mexico, and again, I'm not kidding, everyone drives 95 miles an hour. You don't want them looking down at their touchscreen.
Right.
Grab a knob, do what you got to do.
And the touchscreen has an easier time screwing up than anything else.
Man, right. One thing goes wrong in your touchscreen and your entire dash is F.
If I push the wrong button, I know I've pushed the wrong button. If I push the wrong button on a touchscreen, that's because some sensor is not calibrated this thing to the okay. Give me the doggone button back.
That does drive me crazy, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? Thoughts like that are reasons why we have no life. That's why aliens don't want to contact us, because we have no life.
We're still doing touchscreens.
But we don't know if we don't have any life. But so we have found a way to find out if you have no life, which brings us to
The Men's Room Top 10.
It's a great segue.
The Men's Room Top 10.
10 subtle signs that you have no life. Let's explore this person for a moment, shall we? My guess is they're divorced. They live alone. They know the names of more whiskey-pouring bartenders than they have friends. I think I just described myself.
No, VG. Think? You're good, man. You're good.
You're good. None of us like it.
So these are the 10 subtle signs that you have no life. Number 10, trying to look tough on the internet.
I mean, come on.
Well, if that's your life, that's no life, yeah.
Exactly. It just... Way to go.
It's the internet.
You made people angry that you will never see that you made angry other than what they comment back.
You can say something without being punched in the face.
Yeah, I understand strategically how that plays in, yeah.
Bragging about working long hours.
That is so idiotic.
I wouldn't brag about it.
Right. You know what? There are people that
do it all the time now.
They do. They absolutely do. And I go, but I used to do it myself, and then it occurred to me, I just went overseas, and like, why are you bragging about that? I'm on an 8-week holiday, and I go, it just hit me in that moment. They're like, we get paid the same.
Well, people think we just come in. So I always ask, like, well, what do you got to do for that? Like, well, I get on the internet for an hour or two at night, and then get up for an hour or two in the morning, and then what time do you get in? 10.
Why do you get in so early? Your show's at 2.
Right. And then I go, well, I'm not bragging about it. It's just what you got to do.
Right. And you know what? There are people that they like to occupy their time by working. I do that all the time myself.
Sure.
I work all the time. There are others that when they clock out, they're done. Okay, it's fine. We have glorified, I get up at 3 a.m. and I don't get home until 9 p.m.
But if I'm running a society, I want people to have that thought.
Sure, if you're running the society,
it benefits that. People that are proud of the fact. And there's nothing wrong with working long hours. But that works to my benefit.
Right.
For sure. I mean, yeah.
Right. People need to work, absolutely. Okay, cool. Making fun of people's hobbies makes the list of the 10 subtle signs that you have no life.
That's just fun. I don't think... I don't think it matters. It's like, it's having fun.
But you're razzing people for their hobbies. There are others that literally put people down for the hobbies that they have.
I would not put you down for, but yeah, I'm going to give you grief, but it's entertaining to me.
Sure.
It could be a lack of life, but hey, man, it's just something I readily enjoy.
Right. I don't knit. Okay, I'll make fun of you if you knit. But still, if that's what makes you happy, if that's what releases your brain from the chaos of what we deal with every day, cool, dude.
But really, pick knitting?
Right.
I mean, sorry, I can't help it.
Ooh, you made a flower.
Can you knit something anybody wants? There's only so many scarves and frickin' other bits.
I embroidered this. Fancy. What do I do with it?
Yeah, how about a pot holder, dude? For real.
Yeah. My mom did that. Made me a bunch of pot holders one day.
Nice.
Great. Obsessively posting about posting relationship statuses.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I think it also, I don't know that I'd say those people don't have lives. It just kind of gives you an insight to what's really going on here.
That's number 4.
Are you selling meat? Are you a butcher?
Oh, yeah. Meat's ready for you anytime, Mouse.
Oh, especially on ground beef tonight.
10 subtle signs that you have no life. Number 4, posting everything on social media. Which,
yeah, it's difficult. In my opinion, you don't have a life, but I'm an old man and recognize that for younger people, that is part of what life is.
Sure.
Right? You know what I mean? That it's become ubiquitous with what it is to be alive. People like we were talking last week, people take pictures of the meal they're eating and all this. It's not for me, but a lot of things aren't. Trust me. Don't worry about my opinion. Right. But it's definitely part of what people do.
And it kind of goes back to the hobbies where some people, they just like letting everybody know what's up. They like typing it out like it's a journal, like it's a diary. And I am more annoyed with the commenter to the poster that
says something horrible.
Well, yeah, who cares? Okay, I don't like that commenter more than I don't like. If I don't care about what you've got going on day to day,
you will know by me not expressing any interest at all.
I'll scroll by it.
But
maybe I throw it a like.
If you do post what your hobbies are, or whatever it is, right? You can say it's a lack of life, but I bet you a lot of people find other people that also like what they do.
Sure,
right? I mean, it's kind of the thing.
There is just some people that post every single.
Oh no, you're right.
They do.
Yeah.
And it just screams like, is there nobody ever sitting with you?
For real.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do for a living? Like, I'm thinking of one specific person, and I don't think they have much of a life. But yeah, it's constant.
Today we sat on the lanai.
And it's not, the other thing you got to keep in mind, it's not always just posting about themselves. What drives me up the wall is people will take pictures of other people out in public and like kind of make fun of stuff, and like it's like, right, so you're just posting
to be mean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Number 3, calling the police on innocent kids. I don't care who you are. If you are the one that calls cops on little girls that are at a lemonade stand because they don't have a permit, you have either had a very bad day and have acted inappropriately, or 2, you literally do not have
That's
any life.
not a bad day. Everyone's had a bad day. It's never crossed my mind. I bet you they're operating that lemonade stand without a permit. I hope they're operating without a permit.
I gave them the bad day because it's like there's got to be some stupid reason.
I'm sure it's happened on occasion.
I'm the shoe on the other foot guy. I always try to find the reason why people do things, even though as weak as it is, I don't get why you do that.
That one really bugs me. They gotta learn sometime.
Okay, they're 9, dude.
They're 9 to sell lemonade. And
they got time.
You cannot buy it. We all know it's goddamn country time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hook them up. They're saving money for something. They wanted something. The parents said, figure it out. I'll meet you halfway kind of thing.
Right.
And the kids took it upon themselves to achieve whatever.
They are, at this point, for their age, innovators. They are trying to figure out a way to make money as opposed to the rest of the kids that are getting an allowance.
Now, how does that work, right? Because I know the Girl Scouts, they'll sell Girl Scout cookies.
They don't make any get back on that.
I know. Maybe they have a permit. I don't know. But we were saying when we were growing up, Ted, right, we're selling the chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Home to home, you knock on the door, do you want to buy the school never said, hey, here's your permit and your ID, so that if someone questions you on it. I had to sell light bulbs for the Boy Scouts. I had no permit.
Light bulbs?
We had to sell light bulbs. We're supposed to sell. Do you know how hard it is to?
You need light bulbs.
I have light bulbs. It sucked. But the point
is, that sounds like a racket from the beginning, man.
Well, it ended up being, because the light bulbs were $2 a pop. I sold them for $3 a pop. Because, hey, that was my fee that I put on there, and no one had a problem giving me the $3.
Shipping and handling.
Yeah. And then when the Boy Scouts found out, apparently, that's not what you're supposed to do.
You know what? Screw that, dude, all right? You're free labor. Come on.
Saying. Yeah, I made $1 a light bulb.
Number 2, monitoring people's computer time. I have no defense of this one. If you're sitting there staring at people and judging them for as much as they're on computers, on their phones,
outside of work,
get over yourself.
As a parent, if you're concerned about your kid, like, when would you ever do that?
I don't care what other people are doing.
I can't imagine.
You do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you happy.
I can't.
Right, we just say that people say stuff all the time. We're like, oh, what's your society? Get out of their phones and pay attention.
And I bet they post it
I think
online.
that's what they're talking about. Right.
But then the number 1 subtle sign that you have no life kind of sums up everything. I do kind of disagree with it, though. Talking about other people.
No, it's look, it's human nature.
That's how we get by. That is how we get by, man. We have to. We have to look at someone and say, that's weird, and look at the news.
But everything's about other people. Generally speaking. You can watch a nature documentary, but right, the news, they're telling you about other people. Frankly, outside of politics, it's none of our business.
Sure.
If it's not murder, but if it's up, this guy was drunk driving. What? He didn't hit us. It's
right.
not. but we talk about it.
The only
Everything
difference is
in the
that we don't
newspaper.
directly know these people.
Every talk show, every late night.
Yes.
It's human nature.
You know why you talk about that person? Because that person's weird to you.
Right. Or hot.
Right.
It's not always negative. That's the other thing. It's not always negative when you talk about other people. We just talked about the NFL draft.
Sure.
Right? And we said the Seahawks had a great draft. Well, we're talking about other people, either the organization or the guys that drafted. It was all positive.
Exactly.
These are players you want. It's good stuff.
Exactly. A neighborhood in the UK finally found the one that's been stealing clothing and food from the houses, and it wasn't anybody that they thought that it would be, Miles.
Well, who was it?
I will tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Waco is the next great city in Texas. With an abundance of outstanding jobs from world-class employers, Waco is ready for you to make your move. A city with rich culture, big town vibes, and a wonderful quality of life, Waco is an easy place to live well. Shorter commutes, a lower cost of living, and a community that cares are waiting for you. Find your future in Waco, Texas at inwaco.com.
Hey there, it's your friend Stormy Warren here, and I want to invite you to my new home, the Big 615, exclusively on TuneIn. So what is the Big 615? Well, simply put, it's the official home of country music broadcasting live from Nashville to the world. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. Get the latest on country music, from your favorite artists to the hottest songs climbing up the charts. Oh, and it's commercial free. That means a whole lot more music and a whole lot more country. Hear it all on the Stormy Warren Show, weekdays from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central. Download the TuneIn app from the App Store. That's TuneIn. And by the way, yes, it's free. You can also ask your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn. And I look forward to having you join me on the Big 615.
This is your country station, the Big 615.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Part of the minute to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve and Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast an anonymous woman from Los Angeles, California. Now, this past Friday, 3 days ago, she and her husband or boyfriend, don't know, they attended the Los Angeles Philharmonic as it performed Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony. This went down at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. Now, look, we spend a lot of time glorifying people that fart at the wrong time or animals that fart at the wrong time. This was nothing like that. This woman did not fart during a frickin' symphony presentation of Tchaikovsky, because that, of course, would be classless. No, instead, as best we could tell from witness accounts during the performance, multiple witness, her husband and or boyfriend, as the old Yellow Pages ad went, let his fingers do the talking, so they were distracting themselves. See if you can tell from this audio clip the moment that she, I don't know, may have reached orgasm. Oh, yeah. That is actually what happens. People are watching the symphony. And then this happens. To make it worse, because people weren't entirely sure what happened, when the lights went up, the woman who made the noise, they're aware of who that was. They said she was flushed, she's breathing heavy, but the guy she's next to, the husband or boyfriend, had a certain smirk on his face, which all adults can recognize exactly what had just gone down. I'll tell you right now, I might go to the symphony. So for her and the boyfriend just getting it done while watching the orchestra, We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola bitona!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throw, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Ben. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. All right, Ben, you understand how this here game is played?
I do.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of four categories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have bite me, in other words, what did someone find in their food? Interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, hit me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
Let's do some interior decorating.
All right, here is your story. We go to Vancouver, Canada, where doctors investigating a patient's mysterious abdominal complaints were stunned to discover something hidden inside of his rectum. Now, the man eventually admitted that he'd put it in his butt on purpose, but it's the first published account of what they call the innovative anal subterfuge. Anyway, they find the concealed object. They say that was unique, but it's not uncommon for hospitals to encounter patients with other articles large in the rectums. And no, the doctor is only on call about once every 2 months. The particular doctor, Dr. Coe, said she sees such patients 2 or 3 times a year. So there's not a lot to go on here other than the clues themselves. And that is what the question is. What did he shove up the old poop chute? Was it a carrot? Was it a light bulb? Was it a vial of urine? Or was it a rubber ball? So carrot, light bulb, pea, or a rubber ball. What did he slip up the backside?
What are our experts thinking today?
How old was the guy?
It does not say.
All right. And where?
Vancouver, Canada.
I'm going to go vial of urine, Ben, because it sounds ridiculous.
Because the other one sounds so sane.
Yep.
I'm going to go old school and say
kind of in
carrot.
the same boat.
The vial of urine boat?
It's got the heat. It's got the heat. It's got some cylindrical shape. So, yeah.
Okay.
You sound like a man with experience, Ben.
Me and you with a vial of urine, Ted with a carrot. We're going to find out what they found on this guy's backside. A carrot, a light bulb, a vial of urine, or a rubber ball next.
That was a tease.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, categories: interior decorating. On Profile This, doctors found something in a Canadian man's backside. He said he put it in there. Question is, was it a carrot, a light bulb, a vial of urine, or a rubber ball?
And Ben, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us start with D. Ted Smith.
Oh, damn it.
You went with the carrot, the old, what's up, doc?
Yeah.
Old school. But it did help his vision. But not a carrot. And Ben, you agree with Miles Montgomery. You went with the vial of urine. As you said, it is warm, it is cylindrical, it's everything your butt could possibly want.
No
You
way.
are correct.
No way.
Yeah.
What a moron.
Apparently, he put it up there because he had a drug test coming up, right? So I understand that. Body temperature, clean
He
pee.
was using someone else's urine.
But then he couldn't get it out.
That's a problem.
That's where the problem started. Yeah, so it's someone else's pee.
Makes sense. Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, I didn't get to this on Friday. Obviously, it was some big news last week. I'm sure everybody's heard about it, but it's worth mentioning. One of the stalwarts of daytime TV when I was growing up was Jerry Springer.
Sure.
Right? And the Jerry Springer show was amazing. Jerry Springer over the years has talked a lot about it, and he was like, yeah, it's mindless entertainment and this and that.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, right? He talks about it a lot, and like, right, and Jerry Springer, I feel like Price is Right, and then those were like those days you were home from school, or maybe Jerry, I think towards the end, Jerry came on a little bit later, so you could kind of see it, especially from high school if you got home in time. But I mean, we watched that thing religiously. The Jerry Springer show, then his security guard, Steve Wilkos, he ended up getting his own show, but it was everything you wanted to see in entertainment. There was like drama, fights, strippers, which to me
more
says,
fights.
Yeah. Kind of say
paternity testing.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Jerry, right, that Maury really focused on that. His
Maury
show turned
focused
into that.
But I feel like Jerry was the original. I'm not 100%, but I feel like Jerry kind of did it first. Well, like you said, he would concentrate on other things to make people uncomfortable. Or Maury Povich said, nah, that's my bread and butter.
Yeah, I feel like Jerry's were more scandalous too, right? Like Maury Povich was pretty straight up. This is a serious thing. Well, I know. Whose child is it? Whereas like Jerry Springer, it'd be more like, yeah, Miles, has been cheating on his wife with a transsexual hooker. And here she is.
I know.
Give it up for Tony.
Yeah. So I feel like the Springer show was much crazier than that. Also, right, I'm 42, so like we used to watch MTV's coverage of spring break like a religion, right? When they were down there, again, kids won't understand this, but like you didn't see that many hot women in bikinis on TV all the time.
No, you really didn't.
So you'd watch that show, but I remember one year, and there was guys that would show up on that show, like when Kid Rock started, he was just kind of a character that would show up places on MTV, but you didn't really know his music. This was before Bob with the Ball and all that kind of came out. But I remember Jerry Springer was there one year, and like, it's unbelievable. I mean, he was the biggest rock star there. I've seen behind-the-scenes footage with like security guards and stuff, and they're like, oh no, Jerry Springer in Cancun, He could do no wrong.
I can believe that. I do. Because he was that guy. I mean, it really was.
Everyone liked him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Jerry Springer, remember, was the mayor of Cincinnati, then lost his job after he got caught sending private checks to prostitutes.
Right. Yeah, he wrote checks.
Which is tough. Like, I guess good back in the day, they accepted a check from the mayor, but also you're the mayor.
What do you think?
Well, you can't give out your personal info. And then it was funny, I heard a story he was telling before he passed about, I forget the guy's name, but he had produced a few of these daytime shows.
All right.
Right, because you got to remember, it's not just him. Donahue had already been on for years.
Yep, Donahue, sure.
He was a massive deal. Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yep.
Ricky Lake had a show. Like
Jenny Jones.
So he was starting he said this guy called him and said, hey, we're doing it in Chicago, like, you got to host it. And he's like, what's it going to be? And he's like, it's going to be chaos, but I think you're the perfect guy for it. So
they nailed that.
Yeah. I kind of would, yeah. And I don't know what Jerry did the last few years. I don't know if he was sick or anything. Seemed like you didn't see him as much, but
right, absolute
legend. And then again, if you're my generation, like that was one of the highlights of being home. I mean, look, I don't care what generation you are, and I don't, if you don't work or whatever, that doesn't count. But when you're home from school, even if you're sick as a kid, it's still fun to watch some TV.
Of course.
As an adult, it's a vacation day or, I don't know, you know what I mean? And if you work other shifts, you worked in restaurants for years.
Yeah.
So like a Monday and Tuesday were just your days off. It was just, that was kind of your weekend.
Yeah, spring or more
likely
to
you work or go to school Monday through Friday. Like there's something fun about being able to sit at home and watch those shows. You're like, oh, look at me.
I will say when I was coming up in school, staying home from school, whether I was sick or getting home early, I didn't really ever watch Jerry Springer, but Steve Wilkos was always on and Maury was always on. And even then when I was watching them, I saw them as direct rip-offs of what Jerry Springer was doing. Like he set the tone for what that daytime drama show was.
For daytime. Someone here does make a good point. They go, what about the Morton Downey Jr. show? Pretty sure he was the one that started it all. And you're right, but he was nighttime. So all we're saying, so the one thing about nighttime, and you see it on TV now, your jokes can be more risque. There's a certain reason why most kid-friendly sitcoms start at 8 as opposed to 10. To get dramas at 10, they're talking about rape, homicide, etc. So once you went past the local news, 11:30 on, and look, network TV still has a pretty tight grip on what you can and can't do, but they loosen up a lot at that point. So Morton Downey Jr. definitely got that kind of thing started, but he did it in the time slot where it's safe. Jerry Springer was the first guy that said, nah, dude, let's bring up the daytime TV.
And the first guy to bring up the conflict like that with people that you did not know was Phil Donahue.
Yes.
He just did a more watered-down version of it.
For sure.
Everybody took that and ran with it.
I was going to say, that's the difference. Downey Jr., he was the first to really highlight the trashy angle of it. And And Donahue was still much more of a serious show.
Yeah, he was
I
well
think
respected.
Springer was the first one to be like, it's daytime. And you're right. Once he started being like, oh, we're all in on this, right? Because he started out a little more serious, too.
Yes, he did, yes.
Then everybody kind of followed suit. You know what I mean? That's what I think Maury went to straight just paternity test to watch people dance when they're not the
I almost feel that MTV gets most of the credit for this, as they should. But like reality TV as we know it now, there's entire cable networks dedicated. Yeah. I would still say Springer has more to do with that than probably any other pop culture icon in history, right? Because he took daytime TV. This is all soap operas and Oprah and all this kind of thing. And he was like, yeah. Show us your nipples. I mean, that's what his show was. And once it became acceptable.
About it. His version, and you're right, but his version of reality, he even said, was like different. Right? MTV gets credit because of the real world.
Exactly.
But his was like, this is the reality of what's going on in our country and how people live. And like I always think he made a good point too, because he's like, look, people call us. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't know, and he always said, we only put up our number at the end of the day. It's not like we had billboards around. Right. You would only know to call us if you were already watching the show.
You know what? You're right. It was always, if you have a story, but you're right. It was only then at the end of the show.
David Arquette. This isn't that surprising to hear, but he said him and Courtney Cox had challenges as a couple when she was starring on Friends because it was such a big show. He was doing an interview and he just said it was difficult. And look, I get what he's saying here. He says, I have some of the traditional male things where I want to provide and pick up the check, be the breadwinner. But like he said, in the acting world, it's a roller coaster. Sure. So like, he was more famous in the beginning, but then after Friends, she got super famous. He was kind of declining. So I mean, that is odd, and I think most guys, it's in your nature. You want to do that stuff, but it's also even weirder in the acting world because it's like, right, like there's highs and lows, but now she's this massive star and you can't get a movie.
Right. And you're scrutinized is the big difference.
Correct.
Right. Everything you do is public, where the rest of us, you can cry into your beer if you want to. Nobody knows. David Arquette crying into beer. Right. So.
Yeah. And like generally too, like, I don't know. Let's just say there's two bartenders and they're married. Right? Like, I don't know which bartender makes more or who's more popular, but like, she's Courtney Cox. I know they were all making $1 million an episode or something. And it's like, right, he's David Arquette, so I'm just, you're right, the scrutiny and knowing what people make. And I'm sticking to this one. I've been talking about it for a while. What do NFL coaches make?
Yes.
Why do we never hear that?
Because they don't want us to. But I think it's ridiculous.
They re-signed, they're going to bring the coach back for another 5 seasons. You go, oh, cool. But you're right. All of their info is not thrown out there.
Right, and everybody talks about players all the time. We can't sign him, not for that, and this and that. And like, we talk about these people's, they've reached the top of their profession where I think you should be able to make as much as you want. But we talk about them all the time, but like, we never talk about the coaches.
Mm-hmm. We do in college, and we pay
college,
for that.
Yes.
That's what's weird. The highest paid,
college coaches, you should know because that comes out of your pocket.
The highest paid employees,
state.
Right. Are college coaches, and they announce the deal. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you are paying for that. We're all paying for that.
Right.
Pros, they make their money. They've earned it. They deserve it. So whatever they get, they get.
Yeah. I don't know why I've been on that the last few months. I'm like, yeah, what do these coaches make? Because it also takes away some of the advantage of coming out in public and being like, well, I don't know, he makes this much money. He should do that. That's for the club. It's like, who cares? We don't even know what you make. Speaking of clubs, though, obviously, massive day yesterday here in Seattle for Seattle hockey. When we left here Friday, said that was the biggest game in Kraken history. Didn't go the Kraken way. So then you had to go down on the road, defending champs, Game 7. They score the first goal. It's electric. Watched it. And then...
off the back. Right. Off the shoulders.
Then they went down. I did not get to see, unfortunately, a lot of the second and third period. But hell of a game. Seemed like the same thing. People know now playoff hockey, especially Game 7. And I will say this. I saw some people saying, like, man, that was unreal. 1-goal game, Game 7. It's like, right. Outside of hockey and basketball, you just don't, and baseball. But like NFL football is great. But the playoffs, what makes the NFL playoffs cool is it's one and done.
One and done, right.
Whereas this, you've gone 7 games. Now you've got a one goal lead heading into it. Like that is pressure that has been mounting and ready to go.
If you play NHL hockey and go to the postseason, if you win it all, the fewest number of games you played are 16. Think about it. And that means you swept everyone. That is very unlikely. So if you won the Stanley Cup, you probably paid anywhere from 20 to 23 games. postseason with that intensity.
With a long season, before.
With the long season, yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of incredible, man.
And to hockey's credit, they get upsets in the first rounds all the time.
Yep.
Now, the Kraken made history being a second-year team. But for the most part, I feel like in the NFL, like if you're defending Super Bowl champ, like you're probably not playing on the super wild card weekend.
But even if you were, you're probably not playing in an NFL franchise where it's their second year. And
Correct.
if you are, you're going to beat the living piss out of them.
Yeah.
By the way, the average NFL coach ranges anywhere from $423,000. Then it goes up. So the median salary is right around $2 million. You can get up to about $5 million. The top 86% making $11 million. Who's the highest paid NFL coach in the NFL?
Oh, you found it. Highest paid coach in the NFL.
He's been there forever.
Belichick?
Andy Belichick, $20 million.
Okay. Damn, $20 million a year.
He makes $20 million a year. Yeah, but to say anywhere from $423,000, maybe.
Well, no wonder Kraft's not happy.
But yeah, otherwise.
You don't look happy.
And I bet theirs is guaranteed, or you got to make the playoffs.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm going to say that much is guaranteed. I'm sure there are side things we don't know about, like make the playoffs Super Bowl.
Right, you make a Super Bowl, which I get.
Absolutely. Yeah, but they're doing okay.
Let's see. You got some NBA playoffs tonight. I think there might be one NHL game going on. One more. All right, yeah, one going on. But there's a couple NBA games. And honestly, even if you don't watch the NBA, like Denver quietly, which is ironic because the other teams absolutely suck and we own them. But the Nuggets have been the best team in basketball, it seems like all year.
Yep.
The Suns are really good. I'm hoping the Suns beat them. Make a series out of it.
Colorado needs a win finally, Ted.
You know what? You're right, Mike. Give Colorado something. Give them something to grasp on.
Jesus. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Inside School of Washington is open to all Washington State residents grades K through 12. We have a personalized approach to education. Whether it's college credits with dual enrollment, career readiness, or credit recovery, we will accommodate your family's needs. The 23-24 school year enrollment is open now. Go to k12.com/ISWA. That's k12.com/ISWA to find out more. We've been around for over 12 years, doing online schooling successfully. No tuition fee and a high success rate. The support you and your student need. k12.com/ISWA.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Fresno officers recovering after a suspect goes all Evander Holyfield on his ear. Meanwhile, getting stabbed in the penis by a prostitute is hopefully something that no one has to fear. Except for one guy. Men fleeing from police jump into a crocodile-infested lake. Cat thinks everything at the neighbor's house is something that he can take. And a man finds 60 grand in the walls of his home and can't spend a dime. It is time for your headline.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, our top story. We go to the UK where a neighborhood has gotten to the bottom of a problem. For the last 4 years, homes in the neighborhood have been burglarized with the thieves stealing such items as sausages, a designer shoe, and even underwear. Residents were baffled about the crime spree until it was finally revealed on a community Facebook page who the culprit was. One of their neighbor's cats.
Aha!
The owner of the feline posted several photos on Facebook of a number of items that her cat had brought back home in hopes of returning them to their rightful owners. Apparently, the cat was stealing things like straight off the clothesline, shoes off of the doggone deck, that sort of a thing. So, good times. In other news, still in the UK, a man was overjoyed after finding a treasure trove in one of his walls, but there's an unfortunate snag. The man recently bought the house as a retirement home and commenced renovations to prepare it for his comfortable years. And one of the projects included breaking into the walls, which is where he found 47,000 pounds in cash stacked in Nesquik containers. But he was soon met with disappointment as he tried to cash the jackpot, as the bills were in Spanish pesetas, which haven't been legal tender for more than 20 years. And some bills were so old they were no longer eligible to be exchanged for euros. So they were actually so old, they're like, we don't even know what to give you for this.
Thanks, Euro.
Right?
That sucks.
He did manage to get $30,000 out of it, though, and plans on replacing the roof with the money. Which,
all right, well, $30,000 is still pretty good.
Still, that's kind of like winning the lottery. It's like, all right, you won $1.6 million. Actually, you only won $900,000. Like, doggone it.
Right.
I shouldn't be sad about having $900,000 land in my lap, but still, it kind of feels like
if you
low
think
calorie
it's
money.
Be more, that's all.
Exactly. Because I'd be stoked if I found a whole bunch of money in my doggone wall, but it's like, actually, these are old money. They don't get... These are,
it's
territory bills.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
At least that makes sense. Because when you first set the story up, I'm like, oh, what BS did they come up with? That's actually pretty legit.
Which I don't get how he can get $30,000 out of most of it. But there were some that were they're too old. We can't even give you any money for them.
It could be a matter if it's like collectors and all that, right? You can talk about Cougarans, right? Old gold doubloons. The difference is if it's made of gold, you recognize the inherent value.
And you got to know that if they couldn't exchange them, I am going to keep them and try to sell them to collectors.
Sure.
You go ahead and find a peseta. You go right ahead.
Go ahead, I dare you.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Sucks for him. But, hey, man, you could have worse problems.
Like, I wish I knew more about the money exchange process in order to understand why, yes, I get it, the peseta has not been a recognized form of currency for a while, but did that money just evaporate? You just kind of just said, okay, this just no longer exists as we're moving to euros?
I mean, I think you had a time limit, when they converted to euros.
I understand
they got
that.
X amount of months, I'm sure, to exchange it. And whatever you keep, just know, it ain't gonna do anything, man. It
tells me that the government just kept that money.
Oh, hell yeah.
We know those pesetas are out there. We're just gonna keep that for ourselves.
Well, that's it, right? I think that's just piggyback on what you're saying, right? If you have that much cash stashed, and somebody says, hey, we're changing the denominations, you're probably gonna go cash that in.
Yes.
Absolutely,
man. To Africa, where we learn to never rip off your prostitute. Goodness gracious. A man in the country of Malawi, I believe, made arrangements with a local prostitute where she would come over to his home and have sex with him in exchange for the equivalent of $80. Local authorities report that while in the house, the pair got into an argument about the money that ended with the man being stabbed by the prostitute in his penis.
Oh.
He was taken to the hospital and she was arrested and questioned. That
changes everything.
They were already at that point that he was naked?
My guess is, to be honest with you, I think the transaction was finished, and she yelled up her end of the deal, and he just went, you know what, no.
Oh, good call, Mike.
That'd be my guess. I have no facts to go off with this, but you don't stab a man in the gym, you're like, hey, wait a minute, no, can we negotiate you down to 40? Like, no, this is... goods were exchanged without the currency. I'm going to get mine.
I think you go half and half.
God. If I knew that was coming, I'd throw the $80 out.
If I was stabbed in the penis, here's my $80.
Right. As soon as she grabs the knife, you go grab your wallet.
Right.
Like, bro, it ain't worth it. Damn. Down in Australia, an on-foot pursuit turned into a rescue mission. Authorities were chasing a pair of suspects that were fleeing police after causing unrest in the area and decided to take refuge by jumping into a nearby river. But this is Australia. This is where things took an alarming jump in stress for the suspects as the river they jumped into was infested with crocodiles.
Just assume it is.
They immediately targeted the two. They were coming after them. They saw them as a meal opportunity.
Yeah, they're rained down from the heavens.
Yeah, they're crocodiles.
Oh dear! Officers responded by shooting near the reptiles with both their firearms and beanbag rounds, helping the suspects to safety. No animals were harmed as they were warded off, which I do appreciate. Like, you know what? The animals are just being the animals.
They're doing what they do.
Just because these jackasses jumped into their waters and now they're targeting them. It's like, okay, we're gonna try to ward them off, buddy. Swim back to shore.
Do what we can.
I mean, that's what we do, right?
Sure.
If a bear is in your backyard,
pop a few rounds around him. Right. Don't make me do it. Smokey. That's it for your headlines with that. Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time for Sin Spin. Ryan Castle will be back. The lovely Taryn Daly's up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.